Debbie does Dallas.
Debbie does. Hello, fellow followers, and welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene Vids. I'm glad to have Rookie here with me. Tom is joining the show. Do not worry. Have no fear. He's on his way. He's running a little late, but do not worry. Tom is coming tonight, and we will have a really good show for you tonight. Rookie, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing excellente. Ready for some more Spooktober Halloween stuff. Yes.
All right. Yes, I'm excited. As you can see, I've got the Halloween background up. I'm getting excited for the upcoming holiday. But let's say hi to the chat real quick that's been waiting for us, and then we'll get into talking some physical media and everything. So who do we got up first? Let's see. We have James Woolard who says, "Oh man, I'll catch up on tomorrow with the replay." That's why I leave it up for you guys, because I know the replay gang is just as important as the live gang. So I hope you enjoy the replay tomorrow, James. Glad to have you in the chat there for now. Heather Preston, how are you? Hi. Tim Hayes, what is up, Tim Hayes? Glad to have you here with us. And Style Section says, let's rock and screw Best Buy. Physical media is king. Yes, screw Best Buy. Surprisingly, this might actually help physical media with Best Buy doing this, because it's bringing a lot more awareness.
It's making me want to definitely spend more money now than I was planning to wait on later. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, so it is having sort of a bit of a effect with physical media, because people are seeing that the importance of physical media now, and how that's sort of being taken from these brick and mortar stores and stuff. It's sort of like out of sight, out of mind. So people are now like, hey, wait a minute. I want my DVDs. I want my Blu-rays, so it might have a good effect on it in the end.
I think so.
Yeah. And Deleted Scene, salute to you. I want to get this real quick, because Tim Hayes has been a member for 14 months. Thank you so very much for all your support, being a channel member here for that long, over a year now. Tim, you are an awesome guy. He says, hell, Greg, what's new? Not much. Just going to be hanging here with you guys. And you know what? Since you are a channel member and you've been a channel member this long, this deserves a video to be played. So I want to play a video. What can I play here? You're like me, Tim. You like the good stuff. I'll give you a little Rhonda Shear.
Next on USA, up, all night.
I hope that helps you a little bit. I love Rhonda Shear. She's a great woman. See who else we have here. We have let me see if I can remember how to say this. It's Dimension Scott. I think that's how you say it, right? That's what you told me last time. Dimension Scott, hail to you. Glad to have you here. And Kitty Bear, hail to you. Ace Hanlon, howdy. Duck Nation, glad to have you here as well. Yes, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and share the stream out. What's up, 4K Cinema? Glad to have you here this evening. Dalton B, good evening to you. Dan Blackwood, prayers for Runner in his Best Buy. Throw him up. Oh, poor Runner. We even got him saying F Best Buy now too.
Did he buy on Best Buy? Was that his main go-to place for physical media?
That's like okay. We had this, see these right here from Tim Hayes, who has the members only exclusive emojis that you get. It says F Best Buy. We have a joke here because my Best Buy sucks. Tom's Best Buy sucks.
So does mine.
Right? They had
I agree.
Shrunk the physical media department. To be honest with you, we had stopped buying there, other than like certain pre-orders for Steelbooks. But Runner, every time he was on here, he's like, I just came from my Best Buy and I got this movie, this movie, this movie, this movie, this movie. And they had them all in stock. And so we started saying, fuck your Best Buy, Runner. So that's how the F your Best Buy joke got started here on the Physical Media Show.
They almost never had movies at mine, as far as I could tell. It's like if there's a few straggling movies, like as if you're at the grocery store, and they've got a few in the aisle at checkout or something. Yeah. That's how that was.
It sucks. What's up, Doug? 1985. Virginia loves horror. Glad to have you here. Yes, Tom is coming tonight. Don't worry, he'll be here on time. He always finishes right on time. What's up, Anthony Draven? Hail to you. Pops, what's up, Pops? It says, quick question, not on topic. Are there Blu-ray collections of Thundercats, G.I. Joe, or Transformers? I do not believe there are Blu-ray copies yet for those. I want to say
I would
Thundercats
assume
maybe is
I
getting
would assume
one.
for Transformers, unless he means the cartoon.
That he means the cartoons.
Oh, okay. Probably not.
Yeah.
Then.
I'm not sure if they're Blu-ray for them yet. I think I want to say Thundercats for some reason because I think maybe I heard something, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it a little further.
Have they made Blu-rays for the old animated shows of like the 80s and
Yes.
stuff?
Yes, they have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Because most of that was actually still done on film, even though it was like hand drawn and stuff. It was like still film. So some of them though, like were TV video. So
right.
yeah. But Hell Cool Gamer, glad to have you here. Corley and Rogue, glad to have you here as always. Hey, look, Midnight's Edge After Dark is in the chat. What is up? It's my 1 year anniversary since watching your channel. Well, thank you so very much. I'm glad you've stuck around for 1 year. I'm building my channel here. I'm working my way to 10K by the end of the year. I personally, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't see that happening. But hey, it's a goal to work to regardless, nonetheless, and I'm having fun. But I'm glad that you've stuck with my channel for this whole year. I appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. Thank you. What's up, Tyrell72? Good evening to you. There we go. I did get his name right. All right. Dimension Scott. All right. Mighty Dean, what is up? Hope I said your name right. Okay. It looks like I got everybody in the chat. Thank you all for hanging with us this night, this evening, and everybody out there watching. Like I said, Tom will be here soon, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to add the 4K for you that we did earlier. This is the video here, and maybe we'll have a little surprise guest slip in. There he is. What? Just on time.
I forgot to turn on my headphones here. Hang on.
Well, go ahead. I'm going to play the 4K.
There we go. Go ahead and play the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play it. So,
hello, everybody, and here's your 4K for you news for the week of October 18th. 2023. Saw X looks to be coming on the 21st of November to disc from Lionsgate. Also on that same day from Lionsgate, you can expect The Expendables 4 4K. Here's a look at the exclusive art there. Oppenheimer looks to be hitting on that same day as well from Universal. Young Guns is coming to 4K on the 5th of December. Here's a look at the 4K Steelbook exclusive from Best Buy. Underworld is coming from Kino Lorber, not to be confused with the vampire werewolf movies. This will be the Clive Barker Underworld film. That comes on the 19th of December. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny has a Destiny for home video on the 5th of December on 4K and Steelbook. There you go. Color Purple is also coming on the 5th of December from Warner Brothers in 4K. Running Scared looks to be coming from Kino Lorber on standard Blu-ray on the 12th of December. And you can also expect The Man Who Wasn't There in 3D Blu-ray from Kino Lorber on that same day, and Suspect Zero in 4K on the 12th of December as well from Kino Lorber. Also around that same time period, you can expect to find Exorcist Believer on disc from Universal. Looks like Criterion has a few selections coming up for January, including the Apu trilogy, Blood Simple, Lone Star, Train Spotting, and more. Also, you can expect Varsity Blues on the 9th of January from Paramount. Umbrella Entertainment has a few different versions of their 4K release of Super Mario Brothers hitting in January. There's a look at the huge edition there. Trust the Fungus, as they call it. And Cutting Class is coming from MVD on the 16th of January. There you go. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you on the show.
So there you guys have it. That's what's all the upcoming releases coming your way. If there's any that interests you, drop it in the chat. Let us know what you guys saw there that maybe you liked. I know me and Tom are rather excited for Super Mario Brothers 4K, which that dropped on last week's show. Tom was like, I pre-ordered it. Boom. I remember that. So we got that's coming. I'm looking forward to Varsity Blues, of course, The Color Purple. Young Guns, I'm looking forward to. So yeah, any since you're the rookie there, did you see anything you saw there that you might like?
I was actually gathering some of my stuff, so listening to all of that. I was gathering. I was like, oh shoot, there's something I forgot.
What's a rook? Always a rook.
Exactly. That's what it needs to be.
Tom, I gotta say, I'm loving the freaking shirt and the background. I'm loving it. Loving it. It's awesome.
Keep an eye on it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what we got there for upcoming news and no rumors. We haven't got any really.
Well, there's a few, but nothing really
Yeah.
that we haven't already talked about. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let me ask you: Did you see the question that Pop said? Didn't I hear something about a Thundercats Blu-ray season?
I know the newer show got one. I think they'll eventually get to. But no, Transformers surprisingly hasn't had one yet.
I'm surprised in the Transformers because that would definitely scream for a Blu-ray. But yeah, I don't think any of them have. But for some reason, I think maybe I'm thinking of the newer Thundercats show was getting a Blu-ray or something. Got a request, Tom.
Listen to them, the children of the night. What music they make. You
Nice.
dirty whore, I will smack you. I am a pimp. Where is my money?
Well, you did have some pretty good looking wives.
And to answer your question from the back, the magic number is 13. I know, you just fell out of your seat. Yes, I watched 13 fucking movies this week.
Are you serious?
I'm fucking serious.
Oh my gosh. I got like 5, but some of them are
Now,
set.
I can combine some because I've got like a series, another pair, and that's it. Like, but there's still quite a few separate ones. So yeah, we'll figure it all out.
Yeah.
We go along here.
Okay. I don't know how to. I mean, I did watch a
Well,
lot.
5 of them are part of one series, like I said. So I could probably lump those 5 together. So right there's like one whole pick knocked down to almost half, right? And then another 2 that go together. So there's another pick knocked down. So if I do it that way, then I'll probably match up with your 5.
Okay.
If my maths is working right. And there was a reason I was late. And you will see why I was late.
Okay. And like I said, you take your time, man. To what's happening?
I finally found something I've been looking for forever.
Oh, I'm excited now. I'm excited for that. Let's see what you found. That'd be interesting. I think Arrow still, as far as we know, might be working on the Conan Barbarian 4K. That's about all we know at the moment.
Yeah, we keep hearing about it. Sooner than later, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. All right, then. With all that being said, let's start with you, Rook. What do you got for your first pick of the night?
First pick of the night. Well, okay, this one I don't want to count as my official pick, but I did buy a steelbook that you guys already know that I was looking to.
Well, what do you mean you don't want to count it as your official?
Well, because I talked about this before, like 2 weeks ago. But I got the steelbook of the Leprechaun.
Oh, I picked that up too, just cause
and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's cool and all, but I found it weird that it came with the little sleeve on the back that's like supposed to be like, oh look, it's
that's a J card
on the back, but it doesn't. It's just like, oh, it's just a thing.
Sometimes they're nice enough to put the booger snot shit on there to stick it to it, but yeah.
In my head, I just want to throw it away because it's just detached from it. So I'm like, huh. That's
I know it's
weird,
the dilemma,
but it's okay. Now my first pick will be the Spartacus collection right here.
Are you Spartacus?
Spartacus.
I love the Spartacus show. I know that some people probably. I don't know. I don't know
never
what
actually
people's opinions are on the show.
Yeah, me neither.
I've
never
never
seen it.
I think it's pretty good. This is not technic. I mean, it's based on some of the real events, of course, but I think it's more based on a comic. Sort of like how the 300 that Zack Snyder adapted was based on a comic as well. I think this was based on a comic for the story for the most part, but I have that version, and a while ago, I bought this years ago, the collection or whatever as they are, which in a way I almost kind of prefer these, or at least the style of this.
That's got better artwork and everything. I prefer the art have like that.
Yeah, the art like that, and then on the interior, the artwork is. I
don't
too.
like the sleeves.
I'm okay with the sleeves. I don't prefer the sleeves, but I'm okay with them. But I mean, compared to this set in here, like I don't know, like I like the interiors of the other ones better because these are just have the discs present, and that's
the only thing I remember about that show was the one thing that I really liked was I finally got to see Lucy Lawless naked from watching Xena. Yeah, from watching Xena Warrior Princess growing up as a kid, and to finally see her chesticles. Exactly. She had pretty good ones even for her old age.
seeing the chesticles bright and shining was
That's all I
awesome.
ever saw.
That is true. But I've
Is
been
testicles the medical term?
That's what I call them.
That's what they called it back in the day. But I love the way that they talk in the show. You know, like whenever they want to, you know, break with somebody, they're like, you know, I wish to share words. You know, once again, Jupiter spreads cheeks open and rams cock and fucking.
Whoa! What are we talking about?
Whoa!
Damn.
What is
And
this?
ad
Man,
thing
this doesn't
came
sound
like-
again, of course, right? I
This
just
doesn't
ruined
sound
your
like
ad
Kurt
revenue
Russell,
again.
Kurt Douglas at all.
I am
But no,
Spartacus.
Yeah, they go a little too much into the trying to get really bloody, gory, and curse words, a little edgy. But I feel like they still do enough with the drama and feeling with it. They do a lot of emotional buildup in the show, along with it being, you know, the satisfactory gore and sex and stuff that goes on in there. But it's a good version. It's only 4 seasons. I love.
Is that what you think we are here? Is just gore and sex?
No, but I'm just.
I mean, we are, but I mean, I'm
Well,
just.
I mean,
asking.
you're right. Well, so you guys would like it for that alone, if that's all you wish to have. This show is chock full of it. Trust me. You get to see Uncle John from The Mummy cursing and beating, bashing people's faces in with his freaking thing. He's not even a warrior in the show, but still, like, it's just really good. You know, slaves. It's slave rebellion, the Third Civil War. Gladiators revolt against them, and they start getting an army. They start getting enough of an army here. And Spartacus starts to, like, instead of thirsting for blood for Rome, wants to save his people and stuff. And that's at conflict. They do have Caesar and Marcus Crassus in the 4th season. And it is a freaking awesome show. I could gush about this show for freaking ever, but I'm not going to. I think just what I said there is enough to tease you on it with it. I recommend you guys get the seasons. If not, it is like a Stars exclusive or something. But it's
I gotta ask. So
sometimes it's on other streaming things, but I'd say get the DVD versions. They have a lot of good bonus features on them as well. They have a good portion of bonus features, commentaries, I think the extra scenes, good stuff.
So why did you buy the box set or the collection, I should say? Is it because they didn't have certain seasons that were released separately, or just because?
Well, no, I wasn't sure if they had more bonus material on the
okay.
on the full season version, because I got these years ago. I think season 4 ended in 2014, so I wasn't sure if with their collection version, if they had any more new commentary or something on there.
Like
So I just wanted to
disc or anything like that. Yeah.
Right. And if anything, I feel like as far as the appeal, I do like the red as the look, but it is interesting. I don't know. It's interesting because I like it being all collected in one, but I also really do like the art and style of this type of case. Is there a word for this type of case compared to the normal case?
Just typical regular case. The digibook compared to the regular case.
This is more like a book, I guess, compared to the regular DVD case or whatever. But
so yeah, I'm looking here. The show has been released on Blu-ray. It looks like.
Yeah, I think the ones I have should be the Blu-ray set. I think so. It's Blu-ray set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but what I like about the show also is that it has an ending. Like, it doesn't go on for a million freaking years.
We know how Spartacus ends.
Exactly. Yeah, and it ends like that too. But it's like is there something good about that? And I mean, there's obviously some knowledge too. I mean, the main actor in the first season, he actually died in real life. I forget if it was of cancer or something else. They had to get a new actor to do it, which a lot of people don't like his portrayal, but I'm okay with it in terms of also like I like this actor represents him while he's in the arena. Then the next one is him where it gets to the grit of the outside of the arena stuff. So to me is like a good enough sort of transition with it.
I remember what happened to him. He licked Runner's butt.
Man, I'll do that. I know this character here, Gannicus, he was, I think the director. Well, the whole show, I think they wanted to make a show where they could showcase some really cool wrestling moves. I think was like one of their starting points, and then they like just built more on it. They got a time period they liked. They were able to just go more into it. And then also they started to really enjoy the time period they were looking into, and the comic I think that it was based on that they started to adapt. But the character Gannicus, they inspired him. The way they described it was he's like a Han Solo Hercules mix that they wanted to do to make that character. and whatnot. But
Well, according to Dan Blackroyd, his friend played Gannicus in that show. It was pretty interesting.
oh shit, he played Gannon. That's fucking tight, dude. Yeah, he's freaking awesome in the show. Yeah, he's
Dan
like he's the
Blackroyd
only
is
he's the only
Australian.
he's the only gladiator in the show that like won his freedom in from the arena and stuff as a gladiator.
Yeah,
In there.
that's if I remember correctly. This is right up Runner's alley, which I'm surprised he never brought it on because I believe this is a Sam Raimi, Bruce Tapper produced show.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is like right up Runner's alley.
Yeah, I would think so. Especially his age. Oh, he definitely would love this stuff. Definitely. But yeah, he said a lot of Xena leftovers and off screen. I assume he means that were in the show. I think they were.
Yeah, a lot of the people that worked on Xena stuff worked on this.
A lot of them were in this. A lot of the same people are in the Arrow TV show as well, the actors. And strangely enough, even in 300, there's like a lot of crossover with some actors and stuff. But I don't know, it's a good one. It's just a satisfying one, especially if you guys like ones with sword and sandals and that type of time period. It's freaking great. I recommend it. I definitely recommend it.
I have to look into it. Like I said, all I remember is I looked up Lucy Lawless's testicles because I knew she got naked in it. That's like the only thing I looked up because I was like, I watched Hercules and I watched Xena as a kid.
Yeah.
And so like, to see her, I was like, I have to see this.
Yes. And the best thing is she's naked as well as many other women.
No, I know
So
that.
there's a lot of stuff
like,
in there.
When I heard that, I was like, I have to see what Xena looks like.
Yes.
But awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool though, Dan Blackroyd, that your friend is on that.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, he said his name is Dustin Clare. Does a lot of TV work here in Australia. That's pretty cool.
Yes,
that's cool.
Yeah, he's got some of my favorite lines in the show. Sort of, he's just like, I said equal and sword, but you have me by fucking spirit. Just like freaking.
There's two directions I can go after this. Either way, I'm gonna runner it, so it doesn't matter.
That's all good. Yeah, that is my pick. Whoever's next.
All right, we'll head to Tom then. Good pick, though, Rook. Seriously, I just got to get to it.
Thanks. Yep.
Sorry, I got my mouth full. Hang on.
That's okay. Take your time. I'm always the guy that's like, here, do something, and then it's like, oh, wait, can you wait a minute? Yeah. What's up, Stephen Luther? How are you? Good evening to you. And
all right, sorry about that.
No worries.
All right. So on that note, I said I'm going to pull a runner. I'm not even going to go related to anything that you guys were just talking about.
Okay, that's fine.
I had a semblance of an order here, but what I'm going to do is, because I already talked about this on 4K for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I cannot recommend this 4K release. It is no better than the 50th anniversary Blu-ray. If you own that version, just stick with that. Paramount has done a horrible job. It's compressed to hell. Underused bit rate on it. I could not even tell a difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K. I actually kept questioning, did I put in the wrong disc? And I kept checking. I'm like, is it coming through in 4K UHD and all that kind of stuff? Because I didn't see it. It was one of the poorest looking releases I've ever seen in my life. It even makes the cover look not so bad. No, and I've even seen some critics give some excuses for it. I'm like, I don't care how soft the film was or whatever at the time. There's a difference between the way this looks and what movies are supposed to look like, and it just looks horrible. And it's not much better. I don't know, actually.
I know that is Paramount. It's like
it sucks because this is a very good movie. Have you ever seen it before?
Yes, I've seen Rosemary's Baby.
I mean, and this is one of those movies where at the end, not to spoil any of it, because I'm sure Rookie probably hasn't seen it yet, but it doesn't have necessarily a happy ending, and it is one of the most unsettling films I've ever seen in my life. And it ramps up to the ending so brilliantly. And I'm not a big fan of Mia Farrow, but this is probably her signature role right here. I mean, her best she's ever been in it. The way the movie plays out, how you even as you kind of question yourself what's going on at some points as a audience member, but by the end of the film, you're just like, wow, I can't believe. I mean, it's a 70. It's even though it was made in the 60s, this has a 1970s ending. Of course, this was one of the movies that helped bring Hollywood back. So that being said, it does not get the respect it deserves. And I know controversially the director, what have you. That's not even the point. Point is, it's a very, very well done film. It's a classic. It deserves more respect than what Paramount has given it at this point, sadly.
It's just, I can't even. Paramount is just like, it's 2 steps forward. It's 1 step forward, 2 steps back with them. It's like they give us Planes, Trains, and Automobiles looks horrible, and then some of the other 4Ks we get after that look better, and then we're hearing that this is no better than a Blu-ray. It's just,
and I'm willing to bet that half the reason is because this is a 5-year-old scan.
right.
That's part of it. But other than that, it's only $20. So if you don't own the Blu-ray, I guess it's worth the upgrade. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's you're getting a Blu-ray basically, even
and
though
then
it's 4K.
it makes you wonder: is that why they only charged $20 for it? Because it's shit.
Yeah, it is.
And they knew that they were selling shit.
It is pretty cheap for a 4K.
It's compressed to hell too. That's the other problem. Like I was checking, like the bit rate on the Blu-ray was almost exactly the same as the 4K from what I could like. It's like running in the 30 to 40 kilobyte per second range.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People have been saying that. I don't have the Criterion edition, and I'm assuming that also has special features that aren't on this. I might pick that up just to compare it. And I bet you they don't have all the fucking DNR and neat on it.
That guaranteed on that.
Yeah. So you know what? I might just do that the next time there's a 50% off Criterion sale just to see, because usually Criterion always has whatever they have.
That reminded me, there was a 50% Criterion sale yesterday. Which I don't know if it's still going on today, but I know there was one yesterday. I'm not sure if it's still going on today, but yeah, I know that feeling.
But yeah, sadly, I wish I could recommend it because it probably is Polanski's best movie and the only one that I think most people could probably overlook him being any real part of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily say, I mean, maybe some people would have a hard time because he's his signature director or whatever, but I don't see anything in this movie that screams Polanski. So to me, it's just, as a film, I think it's a very well done piece of work. And sadly, it just deserves better than this. The Criterion version's out of print. Well, thanks for letting me know, 4K Cinema. I'll have to see if I can find it at a used store.
Oh. Ooh. Well, that sucks to hear about that because that was one of the reasons I never picked it up right away, is because I wanted to hear what people say, and plus the cover was pretty bad. And Paramount, I can't even with Paramount. I mean, I'm like we talked
it's going
about.
for like $80-$90 already. Of course it is.
Jesus.
Oh man, of course. That's what happens when the OOP market happens, when the scalpers and stuff come along. So
yeah.
All right. Well, if you got that, since we already talked about it or anything, you don't want to have to say anything else.
It doesn't say if this was a 4K scan for the Criterion one, though. It just says it was overlooked by Polanski.
Do you recommend Rosemary's Baby as a film, though, to watch?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for, like, it's the kind of horror movie you can watch with a date, but, like, to kind of test your date to see. And it's kind of a good one to watch with, like, The Omen, maybe The Exorcist.
Yeah.
It's not as visceral or gruesome or it's a slow burn. I mean, but the basic story is pretty simple. You've got this young couple. The husband's an actor. The wife's a stay-at-home wife. And they move into this new apartment in this new building. And she gets pregnant. And she starts to think that maybe something's going on in the building. Like there's either like basically like Satan worshipers in the building. And she thinks they may have done something to her baby. So like it goes down this it's a very Hitchcockian film in that respect. Like it goes down this kind of just path of where she starts to come off crazy. And it's like, you don't even know who to trust as a, audience member. The rug gets pulled out from you time and time again in that third act. It's one of those movies where by the time you get to the third act, you really don't know where your footing is. So it's a really unnerving film more than it is just terrifying in any way, shape, or form. Like there's not a shit ton of gore or murder or anything like that in it, but it's just disturbing. Is that about a good word you'd say, Greg, for it? Probably.
Yeah. It's very disturbing. Especially like you said with the ending that it has. and like with the people, not to spoil, but I would say unnerving and disturbing is probably the best to describe it. It's a horror in the sense of that it's not like no blood or gore, somebody's chasing you. It's horror of like with everything that's going on in the surroundings and what's going on with the baby and her pregnancy and all that. It gets creepy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very moody
Mm-hmm.
film. It's very 60s, 70s kind of film though. Keep that in mind where it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
But once it gets moving, yeah, you kind of go, well, wow. Like that ending really takes you aback.
True. It does.
Yeah,
I mean, just thinking about it gives me the creeps, man.
And it's
Just
not
thinking
even
about
so
it.
much like the reveal of certain things, which is bad enough, but it's the fact of what certain characters accept
Mhm.
as their fate is more so kind of like, I hate putting it that way because it is kind of spoilerific, but it isn't at the same time. Because once you get into the movie, you're just like, wow. If you don't know anything about the movie, that's why I'm trying to be so cryptic, because it is one of those movies that's kind of easy to spoil the ending. It's kind of like most people know the ending, kind of like the whole shower scene in Psycho and
Mhm.
End of Planet of the Apes. It's just one of those things that most people know the twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spoil it for you just in case you don't.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, but it sucks that it's got such a crappy 4K. So
Yeah, I wish it was better.
So hold on to your Blu-rays, and if you were lucky enough to get
Hold
the
on.
Criterion, hold on to the Criterion.
I don't know. I haven't seen a comparison to say because I have no idea how old the Criterion one is. So, yeah.
Right. Okay, so I guess we'll move on to
Your
me.
turn.
My turn. Speaking of more Paramount movies, this past Friday we did have a Friday the 13th. So I watched a couple Friday the 13th movies.
So did I.
There.
But I didn't even bring mine on. I just yeah.
I figured I watched them.
I figured one of us would.
Yeah. So I did watch part 6, Jason Lives, my favorite. That's my favorite one. I haven't actually watched it in a few years. And I also watched Friday the 13th part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
I watched
sounds like a
5
Sex in the City title to me.
I watched 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Did you watch 4? I watched these two. Just these two.
Jason takes Manhattan and goes shopping. That's what that sounds like.
Well, Jason's only in Manhattan for like 2 minutes. The whole movie.
More like Jason Takes Toronto.
Yeah, Jason takes
Okay.
Toronto, and most of he's on a boat.
All right.
But Jason
Still a
Lives,
scarier movie than Titanic.
Yeah, I've heard the 6th is one
Honestly,
of the
yes.
best ones to watch.
the 6th is
It
my
is.
favorite and probably the best. And honestly, because I did skim through like the first couple, but it's like a great reset movie. I mean, it does like the whole resetting the franchise and where they want to take it from there perfectly. And that's to do with Tommy McLaughlin. I think he because I watched the special features and you've talked to him, Tom, so you know what it's like. I think he had the right.
He had a
take on
sense
it.
of humor.
Exactly.
And not all the jokes are like directly in the movie, or they're not exactly directed towards Jason, I should say.
Yeah.
Like I love the bits like you got the kids like, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, what did you want to be? Yeah.
And I'm
But
sure
then-
he talked to you about it too, Greg. Like, the obvious one is like he left things open for the audience to throw the punchline out there, like don't leave home without it and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great because he said that when he told Paramount that he wanted to put comedy in, there's like, yeah, that's fine, but you can't make fun of Jason. And he was like, no, that's the whole bit. You take Jason seriously. The comedy comes from the surrounding situations and the people, because Jason is very
funny
serious.
Because Paramount was up to this point. They were going to do Cheech and Chong meets Jason.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but like, yeah, that was where they had gotten to this point. It would have basically been like, and I talked about this the other night. I'm like, we almost hit the Abbott and Costello phase of horror movies way earlier than we should have with the modern slashers. If we'd have got Cheech and Chong meets Jason, just think about that for a minute. Now, Jason would have been taken seriously, right? Because that was the same thing with Abbott and Costello, but
yeah,
it literally would have been a Cheech and Chong meets Jason. like, I mean, come on. I mean, no.
That would have been nuts. And I'm surprised, honestly, 4K Cinema 2. I am surprised that it's still out there. That shows, because Like the Halloween set went so quick and out of print, and there's still lots of these box sets of Jason left.
Well, I think
so,
they produced a hell of a lot more of the Jason
yeah, I
sets.
think they made more of them.
And
yeah.
I think it also helps that they had Paramount owns most of the rights, so they're not dealing with 3 different companies here. They're only dealing with 2. And they ended up buying, like they basically just had to buy wholesale Freddy versus Jason. That's what bothers me, because I was hoping for a better version of Freddy versus Jason, but
Me too.
yeah.
But Warner Brothers and them didn't play ball right, did they?
No, but at the end of the
No.
day, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
But
If you guys, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brooke.
If you guys like any, so like, so part 6 or whatever, according to Justin Proper, is what the Womp Stomp channel that's made the Friday or the Never Hike Alone fan films has been doing. Essentially, it's been more played off of part 6, essentially, because like one of the main characters is in there.
Well, that's because they have Tom Matthews in it, don't they?
Yeah, they have Tom Matthews and the guy that played the cop in part 6, not the sheriff, but his deputy.
Everywhere the red light goes, you bang.
Yeah,
guy?
you bang.
Yeah, you bang. He says that a bit in this one. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, he said that.
I haven't watched any of the Friday the 13th films except for
wow.
Freddy versus Jason, Jason X, and the one in 2009. So I am without context when I'm watching the Never Hike Alone series.
I know
it's on YouTube, but I recommend you guys watch it because Justin Proper loves Friday the 13th, and he said that it's like a real huge love letter to like the following that type of storyline from number 6.
Yeah, the Never Hike Alone 1 and 2 were really good, so I'm looking forward to watching that. But I was watching those over the weekend, and Jason Lives is my favorite. I think they took the right decision, and that's where he becomes like sort of Frankenstein, and the moody gothic nature and the comedy works. It's a really, like I said, it's a really great reset button after the 5th movie. I know a lot of people started to come on and like the 5th movie a little bit, and it's not as bad as I once previously thought it was, but it's still not one of my favorites. And I think 6 really works. And then I haven't seen part 8 in probably freaking years. And because I remember so many people.
Yeah, I still have a hard time watching part 8 sometimes. It's definitely one of the worst of the original franchise.
So many people hated it because they say this Jason Takes Manhattan, and it's not at all. And to be honest with you, I've grown to like the movie a little more than I used to. It's just.
I still like it, but as far as like compared to the rest, for the longest time it was like the better one than part 5. Like that was the way most people...
It's better than 5, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's not nearly as good as 6 or 7, because that's the thing. 6 and 7 are the 2 fan favorites.
Yeah.
As far as which is funny, they didn't do 4K scans of those. They stopped at part 4. Because 6 and 7 are the 2 that sell the most. But I even checked, and they did not fix. And this is what pisses me off. Another thing I got about Paramount. Even though they went and released this expensive 4K edition of Friday the 13th this year, even though we were waiting for Friday the 13th 2 in 4K, they never fixed the first one yet either.
Yeah,
they just re-released the same fucking disc again. I'm like, because I was this close to buying it. I'm like, maybe they fixed it. But I went and waited for a review, and somebody said it's the same exact disc. So I'm assuming it's the same exact disc.
Yeah, the same. Yeah, without the white opening and all that.
In the ending, yeah.
Yeah, that's Paramount for you. But the 8th one, it's I've made my peace with the fact that most of it is on the boat, and honestly, it's got some good character building, especially with the character. Like each character he kills has a personality in part 8 on the boat, so I give him props for that. Let me ask you something if you feel this, Tom, because as I was watching it, I began to think that the Jason in that movie isn't actually Jason. I almost feel like with the supernatural elements they added to them, a little more supernatural, and with the way Jason moves, I know people argue whether he teleports or not. I almost feel like the Jason that's chasing her is a manifestation of her, of the Jason she remembers.
I'd have to watch it again.
Okay, yeah, because that's the way I saw it. Like the opening when he bring you back to life, yeah, that feels like Jason and everything. And then like, yeah, you see him climb on the boat, but then like when he gets on the boat and the fact that he chases them all the way to Manhattan and just them two, her around Manhattan, it almost feels like that Jason is a manifestation of the Jason she remembers from when she was thrown into the water and he was pulling her down. Even
I mean,
Jason,
if that guy doesn't acknmeacknowledge it, then maybe I would say that, but I'm not so
Turns
sure.
out,
Well, I mean, yeah,
this Friday the 13th film was actually a secret Nightmare on Elm Street film.
I mean,
was
it clearly
Freddy the
is. It was
time.
Freddy the whole time. I mean, it clearly is Jason, but it feels like when you're watching it, especially because like every Jason, when they flash back to his drowning up until that point, he has the big old head and the eye and everything. And
Oh,
when they
that's
flash-
just the director being a dumb shit.
yeah. And then they like, so the way the director is, the dumb as the director was, and the way the kid portrays, it almost feels like that. So that's kind of maybe in my head canon. I wouldn't believe that makes the movie more palpable.
I think if I remember right, like he was the one who wanted to do all these weird flashbacks with Kid Jason. And then when he's underneath the water, that's what makes no sense. He's got the makeup or somewhat kind of version of the makeup when he's under the water, but when he first drowns, you're right. Like they didn't get
Yeah.
it right. And I think that was done in like some pickup shot or something like that. And I don't know if they just didn't get the
It's
money
like-
or if the director just didn't give a shit or what. Which is
He's
funny
kinda-
because part 8 is one of the more expensive of the bunch too, which is crazy.
Oh, and you can tell while watching it, the quality of the film and the set pieces and everything.
Well, that and just that they traveled and shot it
Yeah.
in Toronto and all that, but shot some of it in New York and yeah.
Well, oh, man, honestly, I wish they would cut out some of the shit that happens in New York. It's so
Well, the
like,
best
when they-
bits is when he's walking down Times Square anyway.
exactly.
And I mean, that was the whole gimmick. That's what the whole movie was sold on. I mean, in the trailer, I think he's in New York almost longer than he is in the actual movie itself.
Yeah,
There's that famous trailer where it just kind of just shows him from behind and he's just standing there and you think it's just somebody looking at the lake and it has New York playing in the background and then it zooms in and it's finally him and he turns around. I mean, that's just Kane Hodder or whatever standing in front of, you know, the lake there or the river or whatever, looking at New York. I mean, they shot that sequence is probably longer than he's actually in the movie because the Times Square sequence is literally like what 45 seconds.
yeah, it's not very long
Tops.
at all.
I mean,
Not-
it just
yeah.
shows us spinning around with him around it, and then he walks down the street, and then I think the rest of it's cut to Toronto anyway after that. So, like, yeah, like it's literally just the 360 shot is really all they got in New York for the actual film itself. Because all the stuff that's down the alleyways and all that's all Toronto.
Yeah, it's
I
all
think where he
Toronto.
kicks the boombox was Toronto. They shot that, I think. Maybe they shot that in New York. I'd have to look and see if Times Square is behind him or not. But
I think
it's
maybe
been
that
that
is
many
in New York,
years.
just that one.
that might
scene.
be the only
That's
set
part of
piece. Then
the-
the rest of it is all done.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Toronto. So yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's what it is like when they get. I mean, I know it's Toronto, but when they get to New York, so much crap that they do, it just feels like it's drunk. Like she gets kidnapped and she's given drugs. She's almost assaulted.
There's some weird shit in New York. Yeah.
It's like Jason shows up. It's like, did you really need that scene in the movie? Because up until
they had women around. What else were they supposed to do with them?
It's like, well, up until they get to New York, the movie moves along just fine. Like Jason's taking out all these kids on this boat, just like a normal Friday the 13th movie. And then when they get to New York, it's just like, how can we drag this out and do stupid crap? But the boxing scene is really good when him and when that guy boxing Jason.
And it is the longest of the Friday the 13th films too, from my knowledge.
It's 100
So
minutes long.
I was gonna say it's an hour and 40 instead of 90. Yeah.
Yep. It is the longest.
Well, that was because the director wanted to do as much as he could because the script kept getting cut down and cut down and cut down, and most of the stuff that was supposed to happen in New York kept getting put on the boat and on the boat and on the boat. So then that's where he's like, well, if we're gonna shoot this on a boat, well, then the least we can do is come up with some cool like set pieces, like you would have like a dance floor on a boat, and you can have like the boiler room, and you can have this and that. So at least he tried to utilize his best. I mean, I'm not trying to put the director down. He did pretty much the best he could. He's in the 8th movie in a fucking series of a franchise that Paramount did not want to make, really, and they just did it because they knew it was going to bring in some money. And unfortunately, I think this is the only one that lost the money or just barely broke even at that time. But,
but it's like, I mean, I still enjoy it, but it's not the greatest. And
no,
I think I'm gonna stick with my headcanon that that wasn't Jason chasing them.
If you want to, that's your headcanon, man. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you.
I mean, I know
disguised as Jason.
I mean, I know that it is Jason.
Now it's my turn.
I mean, I know that it is Jason and it's supposed to be Jason, but like halfway through the movie, it kind of feels like she's manifesting this version.
Well, there's just that weird shit with her.
Exactly.
Like in general, that just like
It's
And
like,
her
why?
stepdad or whatever the fuck he is, or uncle or whatever.
Her
Like, it just,
uncle. It's like
yeah.
he threw you in the water when you were 8, and
That whole storyline.
Jason pulled you under, so he's a dickhead.
To me, it almost felt like they were kind of trying to recapture what they had in part 7 with the doctor and what's her face, and I'm like,
that's what it felt like.
yeah, it's just like, no, you didn't need that. They could have left
Yeah.
all that out. Really, you got more than enough there. You got a group of teenagers heading to New York, and Jason tags along.
Yeah,
right? Like, that's all you need.
That's all you
Like,
need.
what else do you need? I mean, it's basically Alien on a boat. So there you
Yeah.
go. Like,
And you're not wrong. It does feel like they were trying to mimic. That's also why I kind of think why I will say that it's a figment of
it was just to create conflict. Yeah.
It feels like they were trying to recreate the Tina doctor relationship, like she has visions of Jason, and he just happens to be there. Even the dog sees it.
It feels like the director only watched part 7.
It feels like, yes, exactly. Because even the dog sees the little kid version of Jason and runs away just as she's seeing it. And like the doctor and or her uncle and her have that very contentious relationship like that. And I mean, you don't really need the flashback scene. It's so stupid. Like, she kills her favorite teacher. She wrecks the police car and kills her favorite teacher and gets out, and she's staring at the fire, and she has a flashback to her uncle throwing her in the water and Jason pulling her down. And she's like, I hate you, and walks away. And the dude's like, don't touch her. And he walks away, and he's like, what? And then Jason shows up and sticks him in a barrel of toxic waste. It's like, what? You just literally killed your favorite teacher and had a flashback, and it's his fault. It's like, okay,
maybe
whatever.
she's Jason. You're right.
Yeah.
She's just, it's like Psycho. She just won't admit
I'm telling
it.
you, rewatch it. If you get to rewatch it, halfway through the movie, you start
Just
to
call
feel
her
like
a Psy
Jason
Queen. I never heard that term.
The Slay Queen.
Slay Queen, Psy Queen. I like that too.
It does. Like, halfway through the movie, it feels like this isn't Jason. Like, the real Jason
Yeah.
is still back at Camp Crystal Lake killing people.
Otherwise, the one I watched that you didn't would be 4 and 5. And 5, you know, it is what it is. It's one that I've warmed up to a little bit. I don't hate it nearly as much as I did when I was a kid. The only reason I ever watched it when I was younger is just because it has the most tits in it.
It's the most nastiest of them.
Because as you you get turned off real quick when you're like, wait, Corey Feldman was just here. Where'd he go?
Yeah.
And then you find out it ain't Jason, and you feel totally ripped off. Even though it doesn't really promise to be Jason necessarily. I mean, you get the weird flashes of Jason and whatnot, but like, it's pretty clear when it's Roy. It's Roy. Yeah. I mean, it's not Jason. It's somebody new. So
and
I mean,
the mask gives it away.
Yeah, exactly. Watching it now, I'm just like, how did we ever question this shit? But whatever.
You got to give him to Hawaii.
You got to don't give him ideas. And I was just to say, you got to give him credit at least for trying something a little different, not nearly as different as Jason Goes to Hell, but a little different. But part 4 is probably kind of the blueprint. I think at that point, part 4 is where they kind of got like, this is the basics. This is the best we can do with what we've built up to with the first 3. You got memorable kids. You got secondary characters in Tommy Jarvis and his family. You've got, so you finally have a real antagonist that isn't just a throwaway scream queen. Yeah. Tommy Jarvis is kind of a unique character in this kind of a genre. Yeah, you don't get to too often. Not only is he a male, but he's a boy, so he's a kid.
Yeah,
which I think the studio, in a weird way, kind of knew, even though Siskel and Ebert gave him shit for it. They kind of knew who their audience was for this. You're about to say, Rook?
I say watch the Womp Stomp Never Hike Alone series to like see that Tommy Jarvis stuff, kind of a closure to it.
Cool. All right. Well, I will. I've had
really
enough
good.
people like jump my shit that I haven't watched it yet, so I'm sure I'll have to eventually.
They're really good. I haven't seen.
And I mean, for me, who hasn't even seen much Friday the 13th, I really enjoyed these. So
yeah,
that should say something.
But part 6 is great. Actually, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. They're all great like that,
They're all great. 8, just a little step down. Jason Goes to Hell. I give him credit for trying.
Yeah.
Jason X is just batshit crazy.
Jason goes to hell. Jason goes to space. Where's he going to go next? To the future to fight a Terminator.
And,
the Bahamas.
The Bahamas. Bart, this is partially because of the rights thing between Sean Cunningham and Victor Miller.
A mess.
He's getting tequila.
And they had 5 years where they got the rights back from New Line, and they didn't do jack shit. And their excuse was that the rings reboot failed. It's like those two are such two different horror genres within themselves that, like, this is such the stupidest thing in the world. A Friday the 13th movie wouldn't cost a third of what a Rings movie would, first of all.
Exactly.
Second of all, how hard is it to get a couple of fucking half-naked adults pretending to be teenagers, throw them in the woods, and get a guy in a hockey mask to swing around a fucking axe and a machete? It's
That's
not
all
that
most
hard.
people can
It's not
afford.
that hard.
That's all most people can afford to do.
Well, that's the reason why I'm sure the Never Hike Alone series is actually pretty good, because it's not real difficult
It's
to
not.
replicate this. It's
Extremely small cast.
in fact, that's going to
extremely
come up on my
well-done
next
effects.
pick. But
It's
yeah,
so freaking
Okay.
good.
or one of my
Yes.
picks tonight. Anyway, I got so
Alright,
many
yeah.
picks tonight.
Yeah, I know. We should probably. I guess we should probably move it on. We talked a lot there.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
that was one of my picks I didn't even bother bringing on.
Okay.
I hadn't watched
So
them.
good. All right, so I have now the last.
I
couple
just saw
weeks,
what you had there. I have that.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm
That
not
came
trying
out
to
a
pick
long
one.
time ago.
I'm not
Yeah.
trying to pick out ones that you guys might not have seen before anymore. That's long done. But I've never heard anybody talk about
I have
Strangeland.
seen it, but it has been since it
I have
came
that.
out.
I
Yeah,
brought
it's been a
that
long
on.
time since I saw it too.
I
but-
brought that on about, I want to say, 7 months ago.
Okay. I'm glad that other people have seen this movie, because I'm like, this sounds right up your guys' freaking alley for a horror film of some kind. I mean, what I remember of it's one of those films. My buddy sometimes his mom would just throw something in the TV for us to watch, and this was one of them. You know, younger, whatever. And there's like these two chicks. They're talking in the old chat rooms. You guys remember those back in the old days, in the early
Yes.
internet, days.
You're trying to
And-
say I'm old.
Even for me, it's of my time too. But some chicks high school chicks are trying to go to a party. This one dude's like, "Yeah, I've got a party." They're okay. They go to the party, and her father's a
Captain
detective.
Howdy.
The detective discovers the friend's dead body somewhere, and he's gonna go find his daughter, and then finds this house with this creepy dude who's like super into pain and piercings his own body, tearing his own flesh and stuff, and likes to do that to his victims as well, sort of, and usually with piercings in different type of weird ways, not just your ears, your nose, no, just like other just weird stuff with your body, piercings with it, and then he even gets sort of reformed, and then there's some neglect. There's some decisions that the parents make that make a turn for the worse, and it's a good little horror film. I feel like it's similar to something else, but I'm not sure what it is I'm thinking of. But it's I recommend it. It's creepy. It's got regular old body type of horror. It's got like situational if you're a parent, and if there's this type of where are your kids going? What are they doing? The internet's a new weird thing. You never know who they're talking to. Kind of a story going on there. I recommend it from what I remember. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's one of those ones that's stuck in my head enough to be like, I remember that movie. He like hung himself with like hooks on his back or something at one point in the film. It's like, oh, dude, it's a heebie-jeebies movie, like that's what I'd call it. It's a straight up heebie-jeebies type of film with there. But I don't know if the people in the chat have seen it or not, because it's interesting. When I have the DVD of it, I don't know if they have a Blu-ray and whatnot. This is from a few years ago.
This is a movie that needs a Blu-ray and a DVD, a Blu-ray, or speaking of which, there you go. I have mine.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yes. Dee Snider, Twisted Sister. We're not going to take it. Wrote this movie. This was all his ideal. It's got some great horror cameos. Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger's in it. You get to see him in his underwear.
Right.
Right. It is a creepy movie. Dee Snider has something wrong with him.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes, this is a movie that really does need a Blu-ray or DVD. It was put out by Artisan, so I don't really know who actually owns the rights to this movie anymore. So that's the hard thing.
It's a good. I think it's good not just on like body horror, but like a parental fear type of thing. I feel like that's where that is. It's like main base. If you're not a parent, and you might not feel it as much. I mean, I was gonna say maybe if you're a dumb teenager watching it, it might be like, yeah, oh, who knows if I talk to a person in the chat room, that might happen to me.
It definitely plays on the early '90s with like you were talking about the internet and the chat groups, how kids were being lured.
Yeah, it's like these strangers are able to
luring these
kids.
adults.
Yeah,
these adults were luring these kids to do things that they shouldn't do. So it very much still plays. That still actually plays today, though. So
Exactly. But yeah, I recommend it. Somebody in the chat says you must have never seen Hellraiser. Good call. I am the rookie critic, but I am going to watch that. That is a high one on my list to see. I've heard at least the first one is worth it. I don't know if I'll bother with the other ones, but we'll see. I'm sure that's known for its body horror. Sure.
Yeah.
But,
oh well. Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like
Clive
this one's
Barker,
more
man.
obscure. I feel like this one's less popular. Like I never heard anybody talk about it before, especially in the horror sphere. So like I didn't even know if people knew about it.
People know about it, but it is not one that's talked a whole lot about. It's really not. I mean, I think it was mildly successful, not like huge. I think most horror fans liked it, and if this might be the case, Joey, if D. Snyder owns it, he probably does own it because it is a movie, and he did say he was wanting to make a sequel to it. So he's been trying to make a sequel to it for a few years now. So if he make a sequel, then he probably owns the rights. So yeah, Artisan and Lionsgate might have the
they're Lionsgate now.
Yeah. Actually, go ahead, Tom.
I had to say they were bought by Lionsgate or whatever.
Yeah, but yeah. Actually, the rookie has seen The Fly. He did a video on it, actually.
If you guys want to check out my channel, at the Rookie Critic, I've seen The Fly, The Blob, The Lost Boys, Megan. I've seen quite a few, and I'm posting the ones I've seen. I'm posting the ones I've seen on my channel. I mean, I've seen other horror ones too. You can scroll down and see the ones from last year. So, of course, Don't Breathe, quietly. Go down the list there. Scream, all that stuff. But I am.
Easy runner.
Tell Rook the blood-sucking freaks. There is still. I still have so many to see. Yes, but I have
Good
seen
for a sleepless night.
I'm not a total horror virgin, but I'm getting there. Some cherries
You're
are being
a horror
popped.
version. What?
You're a horror virgin. What?
Some of these cherries are being popped. Hellraiser, and so my plan is for 2024. 2024, I'm going to plan to try to see all of the Friday the 13th films, as well as the Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. What was the other one? I mean, Hellraiser is sort of one of them, but I don't know if I'm going to see all of those. Probably at least the first one, though. There's like another slasher one I'm thinking of. The Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to see. Well, I would like to hear what you say about Texas Chainsaw when you see it. But yeah, that is actually a pretty good movie. But let's go to you, Tom. What do you got first? What's your next pick?
All right. Again, I'm pulling runners here. I'm just going to go with the flow with whatever I had in the order I had. This is picking up from last week. I promised this one last week, but I finally got it in the mail. This is Unearthed, Untold, the story of Pet Sematary.
Okay. I remember you talking about this.
Slightly disappointed.
Oh, really?
Slightly disappointed. It was really, I mean, it's not bad, but it's like, it's not good enough that I'm like, why didn't they just have this as a special feature on the Blu-ray?
Right.
It's 97 minutes of people just going, yeah, we loved making this movie. It was a great movie. Like, you got a few people from the movie, but a lot of it's just a lot of critics and fans just gushing over the movie.
This one, I really love this movie. It's no, you don't understand. I really love this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch all, like, there's a bunch of deleted interviews and such. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody. It was only like $15, I think it was. But I think you can find it on, I think it's on Shudder or Screambox, one of the two. But Synapse put out the disc. It's got some cool pictures and some cool stories, but I didn't learn anything new that I didn't really already know.
Right. So wasn't very impressive.
No.
For which one?
Yeah.
It's called Unearthed and Untold. It's the making of Pet Sematary.
Oh, okay.
And it's a fan-made documentary, but like I said, they got Stephen King isn't on it. That's the biggest glaring thing. You got the director, most of the stars, all that kind of business, but missing Stephen King. So that was a problem. But the only thing I learned about this that I didn't already know was that the only reason this movie got made at the time was because it was during the writer's strike of '88. And Paramount was only going to do, they're like, well, do we have any scripts right now that are ready to shoot that won't require any rewrites? And they looked at the producer who kept bringing it up and said, no, don't you fucking mention Pet Sematary. Because they kept telling her Stephen King doesn't work anymore. And this was like right after Maximum Overdrive failed. They hadn't had a hit Stephen King film in years.
Yeah.
So they kept telling, I can't remember who this lady was, one of the producers on the movie. They kept telling her, no, we're not doing Pet Sematary. No. So yeah, but other than that, there's not really much that I learned that I didn't already know from other making ofs and commentaries and whatnot. But I mean, as a companion piece, it's nice. I just think it's a little pricey considering I didn't really learn anything new. That it could have just been part of the box set of the anniversary 4K set,
Right.
as a bonus disc or something like that. Have been nice. I mean, I'd have paid an extra $5-10 if Paramount would have done that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of just a hangover from last week because I didn't get to it till this
That's
week because I
fine.
didn't get it till the other day or whatever. So yeah.
It's no Never Sleep Again or anything like
No,
that.
unfortunately, I wish. But I mean, that's the thing, is it seems like they had a pretty good time making the movie. They didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
problems. The city was kind of happy to have them for the most part. I mean,
Hey,
there's
we had
not a lot of
fun, man.
controversy involved. Like I said, the most controversial things at the very beginning of the movie, and then it's not even in the movie. It's just like this written thing that I told you on screen, where it says that in 1988, blah 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 blah, and she'd been trying to get this movie made for years, and
Yeah.
she kept meeting resistance and da 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 because it dealt with child death and all this other shit, and
Yeah.
So I mean, they get into that kind of shit about it, but other than that, they really it's just a lot of people saying, yeah, it was fun making the movie. I did this for the movie. I remember them shooting the movie. Sure, it was annoying because once in a while the roads were blocked, but like, I mean, otherwise, all the rest of the stuff that's in here, I already knew. So
Yeah. So we had no problems whatsoever. It was all good.
pretty much. I mean, there didn't seem to be much that they talked about, like having much for issues, or even the animals seemed to do their job pretty well. Gage was, the kid who played Gage, Miko Hughes, did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I think there was only the one time that they talked about him being scared for some reason, and I can't remember what it was even. And other than that, that was the only thing that, So
Yeah.
yeah, sadly, I can't really recommend it, but I can't not recommend it. So if you find it on sale cheap, go for it.
Oh well.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, I guess we'll move on to me then. I'm laughing because this movie, it's a 90s slasher movie that it's considered one of the worst movies ever made. It's called Jacko. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this.
Nope.
No, is Michael Jackson in it?
No, Linnea Quigley is in it.
Interesting.
Quigley.
Yes, I just got this is a 4K transfer, but it's not a 4K disc. I'm not sure if they put a 4K of this out, but I don't think they did. Okay, oh my god, I have so much to talk about this movie. This was made in like 1995, right? It was directed by Steve Latshaw, and it was executive produced by Fred Olen Ray. Fred Olen Ray makes low budget exploitation type movies. He works with Linnea Quigley a lot. This movie was I enjoyed it because I had fun with it. It's a bad movie, but it tries to be like a kid's horror movie, like Ernest, but also is like a legit horror movie with nudity and killing, and it is so bad and so funny. I loved it, but the icing on the cake for this, you have to buy this for the commentary track. The commentary track sells this freaking movie. It's the director, Steve Latshaw, and Fred Olen Ray in a room together. They get into an argument multiple times. The director storms out of the damn room at one point in time. And then he comes back in and tries to finish it. And then by the time he gets to the end of the movie, they both look at each other and say, fuck you, fuck you. And that's how the commentary ends. It is so much fun watching the movie with the commentary because it starts off nice and they're like, hi, I'm this guy, I'm Fred Olen Ray and I'm David. I'm Steve Latshaw and this is my movie. Here's what I really wanted to do in the scene. And then it gets to the point where Linnea Quigley's character shows up. Right. And as soon as she comes on screen, she's naked and in a shower. That's how they introduce her character. If you don't know Rookie, Linnea Quigley is known for her nude scenes in her movies and horror movies. She always gets naked, right? So she shows up, and Fred Olen Ray's like, "Oh, I really like this scene. I mean, I think it could have been placed better, but I really like this scene." And the director's like, "I hate this scene. I wish this would not be in the movie. I was trying to make like a kids horror movie here. This should not be in here." And the director's Fred Olen Ray's like, "Are you crazy? You hire Linnea Quigley to be in your movie and you don't want to put her in there naked? People expect to see her naked. I just think you could have placed the scene a little better in the movie." And these guys, like the director's like, no, I really hate the scene. I wish it would take it out of the movie. I cannot stand it. And they start arguing. And they start arguing. And then what really gets you is like later on in the movie, the actress playing Linnea Quigley's sister goes topless herself. And the director's like, "I really like this scene," because he's like, "I really had such a crush on this actress. She was so hot. Her legs were smoking hot." And he's like, "Oh, I loved her breasts. They were so natural. Look at them." And it's like, "I wish I would have left the camera on them longer." And Fred was like, yeah, that's a good shot. And so it's like, a minute ago, you were just saying you hated seeing Linnea Quigley naked in your movie, but you have no problem with this chick playing her sister going topless. And then it gets to the point, it's almost near the end of the movie, and Fred Olen Ray brings up the fact that this movie was called a shit pickle. He goes,
shit pickle.
Yeah, he goes, "This was called a shit pickle for you, but I really think it's one of your best movies," because he keeps saying it's his best movie, and the guy's like, "Do you have to say it like that?" He's like, "You're saying you think it's my best movie, but it feels like you're saying, but." It's like they're arguing the whole time. And then the director's like, "I told you not to bring up the shit pickle. You said you weren't going to bring it up." And he gets up.
Are they really arguing? Or is it
This sounds like their own drama. Holy shit.
This is the thing. I'm not sure if it's staged or fake, because at parts it sounds like it sounds like it's real, and then other parts it sounds like they're faking it, right? So I don't know. But he's like, I'm done. And he leaves. And Fred Olen Ray's like, "Well, this is a scene where the kid's getting buried." And then the guy comes back in. He's like, "Okay, you're not going to ruin my commentary. I'm going to finish this commentary." And then it gets to the end of the commentary. And Fred Olen Ray's like, "We've been friends for a while." And the director's like, "Well, acquaintances." And then Fred Olen Ray goes like, "Fuck you." And then the guy goes, "Fuck you." And it stops. And then the credits roll.
That'd be great if somebody like animated these actions so that you could see, like, you put the voices over that, whatever. Like, make that its own little drama.
But
that sounds really interesting. I don't even know what movie you're talking about, but that sounds funny as shit.
It's good. It's Jacko. And for anybody, this was considered a ripoff of Pumpkinhead, by the way. So I never really got into what the movie was about. I just had so much fun listening to these two argue and trying to figure out whether it was real or fake, because some of it sounds real and some of it sounds like they scripted it to make, because the movie is a bad movie, but I enjoyed the movie. I like bad movies. So it is a really
you sold me on the commentary, though. That sounds like the selling point for anybody to buy the movie.
But the movie essentially is there was a long time ago in the past, there was this family that was cursed by a wizard, played by John Carradine, and the dad of the family takes the guy, the jack-o'-lantern, because he's like a guy with a giant jack-o'-lantern head who kills people, and he buries him in the ground, stakes him with like a cross, and that's where he stays. And then like he gets awoken in the 1995, and he's coming after the family, the lineage family of the people that buried him, and the son of the young boy of the movie is the only one that can stop him, because he's like, they say every once in a while a special family member comes along that can kill Jack-o'-lantern, and this boy is the one that can kill Jack-o'-lantern. And so Linnea Quigley is his babysitter and stuff, and like his Halloween, he's going trick-or-treating, and meanwhile Jack-o'-lantern's awoken, he's killing all these people. There's this strange woman that keeps coming to this kid's house, trying to help him. It really is a shit pickle of a movie, but I really liked it. I did like it. That's
gonna be a new phrase I use now, shit pickle.
Yeah, I really did like the movie, and so that's the movie. And what's funny is like this: if you look right here, you can see the woman there. That woman plays the mom. She doesn't get naked at all in the movie, but she's naked on the back of the cover. So, but yeah, it's a fun movie. The commentary, it's a 4K scan, so the movie does actually look pretty good. It's a 4K scan of the 16 millimeter camera. It's got the commentary, 15-minute restoration commentary track 2.
What was the movie again? I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. It's called Jacko.
Jacko.
Originally called Jacko Lantern, but now it's called Jacko.
Right. Okay.
So, but
that's probably a good idea. Yeah, not to call it Jacko Lantern
Yeah.
and Pumpkinhead. Right.
yeah, I love the
issues
movie.
there.
I love the movie. It's actually a good Halloween watch because it takes place on Halloween. The acting is ferocious. The 2 nude scenes are pretty good, but the commentary is what sold me on this movie. It is. I think it's fake. I think some of it's fake, but I also think some of it's real. So I think maybe they were trying to know the movie sucked so bad, so they were trying to lively it up with the commentary. But I also think they started to get on each other's nerves.
Right.
Yeah.
True. They're sat together for an hour and a half, and they have to talk, do nothing but talk. Like,
Yeah.
I assume
So,
the truths are going to come out here or there.
yeah. As far as like the 4K scan, because I see some people saying the 4K scan, I think this might have had a limited 4K run and I missed out on it, but the Blu-ray still has the same scan.
And sometimes I've noticed nowadays it must be getting comparable to do just might as well do a 4K scan than whatever it costs to do a 1080p scan.
Mm-hmm.
So I've noticed more and more often we'll get a lot more 4, 5, 6K scans, and then they'll just release it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Because it must be that much more expensive to process and do a 4K UHD, I imagine. So you also got to do, because that's the other thing is I heard doing a Dolby Vision or HDR grading is also not very cheap and time consuming and some other stuff too. So I'm sure there's reasons for it. When we have Bill Hunt or Robert Meyer Burnett on again, we'll have to ask him a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know at the time, the last time we talked about it, cost was a big issue, but I think that the cost has kind of come down a little bit, considering like 90% it feels like of all the Blu-rays are 4K scans anymore, like Kino and all of them. In fact, what I'm going to talk about here in a little bit is a 5K scan down converted to 2K. So there you go.
Interesting. Well, I'll have to get to that. But this I did not hear today. Burt Young died today. Who played Paul?
Yeah, it happened just before we come on here.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
That sucks. May you rest in peace.
Paulie passed
Seriously.
away. Yeah. 83, I think he was.
Dang, man.
I thought he was older than that, which is weird, but
Yeah, I would have thought he was a lot older than 83.
He
Maybe
must
he
have
just
always
had
played older. Yeah.
Yeah, because he had that look where he looked like he was already 50.
Oh yeah, he's looked like he's 50 since he was like 30.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my
the bird. Go out in the alley and get the bird. I want you to get the hell out of this house.
Great, Paulie. All right, but yeah, there's my pick. Honestly, the commentary, just watch the movie with the commentary, sells the movie better. But Rook, what do you got for us? What's your next pick?
All right, my next one is called The Seventh Hunt by J.D. Cohen.
Never heard of
Seventh what? No.
Good one, Tom. Seventh Hunt. This one is what I would probably call like a Saw type of movie. I mean, attempting to be. It's not really like it, but it is in a way, because there's victims that are caught and there are these killers that have them in these predicaments that they have to fight for their lives for, essentially. And I don't know, I've only seen some of it. I did a new thing now since joining Physical Media Crew. Instead of just watching certain stuff on streaming services, I'll skim through a little, see if I like it. If I like it enough, I'll buy it and then watch the full thing. So I'm going to watch the full thing soon, because October and stuff. But it seems interesting enough, because there's like some parts that made it a little more interesting. Was there's like this one girl is getting gutted, and she's like a rich girl, and they're expecting like the response to be like, no, she's gonna be begging for her life and trying to buy her way out or something. No, she's just kind of pissing on the killer and like just like bringing him down, pitying him essentially. And that was like pissing the guy off. And there's like, it cuts to some guy who's like on a computer who's like evaluating the death and the way that the victims respond to it. And there's like an athletic deaf chick that gets like injured in her leg, and they take away her sight and she like breaks the fuck down. Like she's just like not able to handle the situation. And so they're like evaluating how people are under these situations. And there's like another guy who's like supposed to be on a computer, and he's supposed to hack this firewall thing to save his friends that are in these situations as well. But every like hour or half an hour or something, he loses a finger. So it's going to become a lot harder to do the stuff as he's going through this. So it seemed like psychologically interesting, and it seemed extremely low budget as far as I could tell. It looked really low budget, but it had like high concept to it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's great. I haven't watched the whole thing. I watched bits and pieces of
I
it
don't
that
know if
caught
it's
my
great,
interest, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't know. I might check this out and see what else that actually has to offer. So,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
an interesting way you go about there. So I dig that, and I have never heard of it or seen of it. Dan Blackroy said he hasn't seen the first 6. So
of what? Oh, I don't think it's a series.
no,
It's just-
that's a joke.
I think they say like they've done these types of hunts 6 times before, and this is their 7th hunt.
The
or
7th
whatever.
what?
Like
What is the 7th what?
hunt? Like
Hunt.
hugs
Hunt.
and hot dogs.
Okay.
Hunt. Yes, with an H, of course.
Sounds interesting. I don't know. I've never heard of it or seen it. Where'd you find it at? I mean, how did you come across
No,
it?
it was just on Tubi. They recommend
Tubi. Tubi
they
has
rec-
a
well, it's like
boatload of them.
Tubi has a lot of bizarre movies listed on there, so I will look there to see if there's anything of interest because it's like you could just type in something that you're looking for and it'll have things that are nothing to do with it at all that get shoved there, and I'm like, what is that? It's like there's like the shark side of the moon, and it's really lame.
This is why Tubi has come to be known as the video store, because it's the stuff they have on Tubi is like when you used to go to the video store and you just see something and it'd be crazy, something you've never heard of. So a lot of people that do the streaming, especially Tubi, have come to see it like a video store because they find all these low budget horror.
Yeah, that was how I found that's how I found that Haunter movie that I was talking about. That I really liked. That I shared on one of the first ones I was on here as. I like that, and I really liked that film. That was a good film. There's a lot of surprising gems in there. Like surprisingly, it's pretty good for that matter.
All right, cool.
But that's that pick. And I'm not trying to pick ones that you guys haven't seen anymore. That mission is long past. I'm just showing ones that are around, and it is Halloween season, so that's a horror-esque one that I'm not sure if anybody else has seen.
At least it is in Netflix. That's true. But yeah, don't feel like you have to bring out horror every time though. So
of course I do. Yeah. That a lot of my choices I don't think have been horror on purpose or anything. But Spartacus I don't think counts as horror. That's more horror, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to Tom. What do you got for us, Tom, for your next pick?
No matter what I do, I'm gonna fucking pull a runner here.
See, it's funny because you say that, and I'm thinking of 5 different things what that could mean. But I don't know what one you're referring to.
It means I could go like 12 different branch directions right now, and everybody's gonna go, "Why didn't you bring that up after I said this?" Because
that's how runner used to work.
Oh, I got you. Like as if the prior conversations were ignored entirely.
Now, like this.
I got
so I'm
you.
just like,
walk like an Egyptian.
I'm just going off of what I got. Since you did Chaco, Lantern, whatever. I watched Pumpkinhead in 4K.
Nice. I love that still book.
It's
that looks very different than what
comes to mind. I prefer this one still. I have not opened it yet, believe it or not.
Yeah, that one looks pretty cool, but I just love the space on that. One. Yeah.
But this is still pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've almost thought about just swapping it.
But, there you go.
But this is a really good scan. Really good scan. Looks really, really good. Good sound. The movie's really good. It's an undersung gem. Directed by Stan Winston. Of course, if you don't know who he is, he's a special effects extraordinaire. Known for the special effects on everything from Terminator to Jurassic Park to the guy who designed the Predator and so on. So yeah, that movie's good. And then I also watched part 2, which is out of print. It's on video on demand, and Leanna Quigley's in that.
Yes.
See, this is what I'm talking about. So like I did Jacko.
Yeah, there you go. Works.
In the sequel.
Works.
The sequel's kind of meh. It's not horrible, but it's not great.
Yeah.
First movie's great. I haven't seen 3 or 4 yet, which is weird because Lance Henriksen comes back in 3 and 4.
Yeah. From what I hear,
has them on DVD. 3 is like almost impossible to find for some reason. So, and they were both TV sci-fi movies. So,
yeah, from what I hear, like 3 and 4 aren't very good.
I'll take my grain of salt. And I guess there's a remake right now in the works.
Yeah, that's what I heard. There's a remake in the works.
Yeah, I can recommend it for the scan. It looks great. Sounds great.
Awesome. I've been meaning. I was wanting to pick up the 4K. That I wasn't sure of it. I do love the first Pumpkinhead. I think it's a good movie. I think Stan Winston did a pretty good job. You can tell he was really trying to showcase the special effects with Pumpkinhead, but also try to make a good movie, not just be like, "Hey, I'm Stan Winston," but I'm also, I'm trying to make a movie here. So I love the first Pumpkinhead, and the director of Pumpkinhead 2 just passed away last week when we did our show. He did part 2 of Pumpkinhead. He did Puppet Master 4 and 5, and Stepfather 2. So he usually does.
Directed Pumpkinhead 3, but you might be right. Yeah,
I did. Maybe it was 3. I think he did 2 too. I'm not sure though. Yeah, Burr, Jeff Burr, I think.
Yeah, I don't actually have the disc of 2, but
yeah, because it's hard to find. But yeah, I love
video on demand.
Yeah, that it is funny that you did, because that movie Jacko was deemed a ripoff of Pumpkinhead. So
yeah, it's got a great little story to it. It's based loosely on it's based on a poem.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it has a basis.
Can you show the cover to that first movie again? The first Jacko,
the orange one, or
the orange one? Yeah. That looks tight.
Yeah.
That's not what comes to my mind when I think of Pumpkinhead.
Like I said, I actually kind of like this one better, but
that's what he.
That's kind of cool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that looks more like an alien creature, though. I guess the other one
kind
like
is,
a face. I'm like, whoa.
I mean, it actually kind of, you're supposed to go like that.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, and this I got from Best Buy.
Which I'm surprised you didn't get your Blob Best Buy Steelbook, because that came out Tuesday. 18th was its release date.
I thought I ordered it. Maybe I didn't. I'll have to look.
Yeah. Where do you think all them are going to go? You think them are going to go to Amazon now that Best Buy shut down?
That, or they'll just could go back to being just regularly on Shout Factory, probably. Yeah. I mean, Walmart still does some Shout Factory, so maybe they'll do them.
Yeah.
The only thing I know from Walmart, at least around my area, is usually there's like, oh look, the 3 for however much money bin, or the I guess there's a 4-pack of something. Like there's a few. Yeah. I never saw any like prominent ones at my Walmart. I mean, I haven't been there in a while, but
see, I also thought I ordered Wicker Man and I didn't either, so I have to go pick that up now. Luckily, I still got a copy of it, but I got to go pick it up at the store.
But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just looking to see if because I thought I pre-ordered the Blob from Best Buy.
Yeah, because I figured you would have had that by now.
Seeing it here, maybe. I thought I could have swore I did.
Well, luckily,
maybe there was an order like that was the one that was in with Pumpkinhead, and it just, I don't know what happened. That's weird. No, because there's Pumpkinhead. That was with the mist. Okay, I don't know. That's weird. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Luckily, if Best Buy goes out, we'll still have some hope, because it looks like Netflix is going to try to make their own video store as a brand new idea.
So dumb. That is so dumb. I hate Netflix. You don't understand. I hate Netflix. Oh, it's like
we're going to have a brand new idea called a video store.
But it's going to be a restaurant, have games. So
what?
Shut the fuck. Get out of here, Netflix. But Tom, 4K
so they killed a brick and mortar store just to open a brick and mortar store.
To replace it with their own brick and mortar.
I hate Netflix. But 4K Cinema is asking a really great question here, Tom, about Pumpkinhead 2. Is she naked? Does Linnea Quigley? There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
I think that's the only reason she's in the movie.
That's usually the only reason they hired her for movies. And she admitted, she said, I made a pretty good living doing movies like that. So that was her bread and butter. But yeah, so what were your thoughts about, before we move on to me, what were your thoughts about part 2? Because I think part 1's great. We all love part 1, but I've heard mixed things about part 2.
Yeah, it's not as good. It's all right. So it's different. I like the cast, but other than that, I mean, the story's not. It's a weird story. It feels like it's only It's only like tangentially connected to Pumpkinhead. It's really weird. If that makes sense.
Is it it's like one of the movies like we have a great creature design, let's just make them another movie with that.
Oh, you've never
creature.
seen it, or have you?
It's been a long time, so I don't really remember part 2. I know it's like called Wings of something.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens is it starts out in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this kid who's like deformed, and it feels like it's another script that was repurposed as a Pumpkinhead script.
Mm-hmm.
And like this kid who's deformed gets picked on by these other kids, and he gets pushed into this well and dies. And you find out that he's Pumpkinhead's kid for like somehow. Don't ask me. They don't really explain it. So like this witch lady had this kid with Pumpkinhead. I'm assuming she's supposed to be kind of like the witch lady in the first movie, only they don't say that she is, and she's completely different and all that business. So then jump ahead years later, and he returns as Pumpkinhead after that lady gets burned by some kids and comes back for revenge. And it comes back as Pumpkinhead, but I'm assuming maybe in the original script it was just meant to be like a deformed creature kind of thing, like a Jason ripoff or something or other. So yeah, it kind of works, but it doesn't work. But it's got a really decent cast. Story wise, it's like I don't know why they went out of the way to make it the child of Pumpkinhead. Why not just have Pumpkinhead? Like the story works as it was. Just have another revenge story like the first movie. It works.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Right.
It's been a long time since I've seen part 2, so I
and not why it even has anything to do with Wings has nothing to like. There's nothing in the movie.
Blood
it's just
Wings.
Don't even know why. It's more or less. Is it a joke because you got it past the censors or what?
Maybe. All I remember is my uncle Nigel, may he rest in peace, loved the Pumpkinhead movies.
And there's some stupid parts in it because like the one kid that resurrects the kid, Pumpkinhead kid, like you wonder why he's doing it, right? He's like incessant on doing it, and this is what sets the whole thing in motion. And she gets burned and all this other. It's like the whole thing has to do with this dude, and he's just obsessed with it all of a sudden. But you got like Kane Hodder's in it. I mean, it's got a great cast. Like Andrew Robinson plays the dad in it. He's from like what do you call it? Shit. I just drew a blank. He's in the original Dirty Harry, and he's in Child's Play 3. But he's in another horror movie, I want to say. Maybe I'm wrong. I was thinking Hellraiser, but I think that's the other guy I was thinking of. That's that other guy I'm thinking of. But he's been in a bunch of shit. Trancers 3, Child's Play 3. Of course, Dirty Harry. Oh yeah, he was in Hellraiser. That's right. Yeah, he plays his stepdad in Hellraiser. That's right. So yeah, so you've seen him in other things. He's in it.
Yeah.
Amy Dolenz is in it. Yeah, there's some cool cameos. I don't know how, like, the effects aren't quite as good as the first movie, so I don't think Stan Winston had a whole lot to do with it. If anything,
yeah,
maybe. I think he's just
he's
executive producer in name only or whatever, but yeah. Oh yeah, Salim Moon Fry is in it too. Punky Brewster. Forgot.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's got like a whole bunch of people. You're like, holy shit! Like as it's going through the movie, and it's like, yeah, I didn't really recognize her, but it's her. I guess, you know, she's one of the main kids. But yeah,
crazy.
Nah, I wanted to watch 3 and 4 before tonight, but I didn't get a chance to. My buddy who has them didn't get to bring them over yet, so he hasn't quite figured out how to rip and send them to me.
Hasn't figured it out yet.
No, not quite.
Yeah.
That's that. That's there. I kind of didn't run her that one.
No, you did good. You did good on that one. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that the 4K looks good on the Pumpkinhead.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, I can recommend.
All right, sweet.
Do we have like runner bingo? Is that like a thing we have
we should create a runner bingo. But all right. Well, I brought this up earlier on 4K for you. I watched the Phantasms. Boy, the Tall Man. I love these movies. These have always been a favorite of mine. Great horror movies. So got the glare, this shine. This 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, 5. I always keep wanting to say there's 6, but I don't know why. but there's 5 of them. If you've never seen these are great movies. Essentially it's a great like brother family movie, and it deals with loss and stuff. Like the first movie is about this young boy Michael and his brother and their friend Reggie, and one of their friends has died, and so like they go to the funeral, and Michael witnesses the guy that runs the funeral home there, that called the toll man, pick up the casket right out of the ground with his bare hands, put it back in the thing, and there's like these little midget things running around, and so like just like basically they're running from the tall man. The tall man is sending these things to him and stuff, and he's taking the bodies and he's sending them to this like world or whatever. It's really hard to explain the Phantasm movies. It's better if you just actually see the Phantasm movies because they're hard to explain. Because even by the time you get to the last movie, you really don't know if everything you saw in each movie is real or not, because it deals with like dreams and loss and death, and whether these characters or what they're witnessing, what they're going through is real or if it's all in their head. They're very psychological, but they're also very cheesy and like 80s and 90s movies with some great practical effects and stuff. I would also say they're kind of the flip side to the Evil Dead movies in a way. I mean, they're not demons and stuff, but I would say they're kind of in the same vein as that. But if you've never seen the Phantasm movies, I highly recommend the Phantasm movies. 1 and 2 are great. 3 is good. 4 gets a little, and 5, The Ravager, which is sad because I think that could have been a good movie, but they waited so long from part 4 because they ran out of money, and they were supposed to pick up exactly where part 4 ended off, and it took like I don't know how many years. I'm trying to find the years here. Dang it, where's the years out on these? Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. Because like they were going to pick up right after part 4 to go into part 5, and they didn't get enough money and stuff like that. So they kind of had to, fan fund the last movie. So the part 4 ended in 98. So, and then part 5 was in 2016. Yeah. So that's how far apart they were. And it tells. The CGI is bad in 5, and you can tell it's a lot lower budget than the rest of the movies, and it never got picked up right where the last movie ended. But
remember right, I think part 5 was like a web series that was split up into a few episodes, and they just put it together as a movie or something like that.
Yeah, because they sort of had to crowdfund it that way.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, and plus Angus Scrimm got really sick, and he died before the movie was finished.
Yeah.
So like they did some really bad CGIing his face on some guy. It looks horrible.
Yeah.
But the first 4 movies are pretty darn good, and tells a really great story. And if I'm honest, I think the TV show Supernatural took inspiration from Phantasm, plain and simple.
I think it's based on a comic, but yeah, it could have.
I mean,
very well.
There's a lot of similarities to like Reggie and Michael.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, that and Scooby-Doo. Yeah, because like Reggie and Michael travel the countryside in a black Hemi-Cuda with weapons in their trunk, hunting down like demon type monster, tall man type guy, which is very reminiscent of the first couple seasons of Supernatural, if you've ever seen that show. So, but yeah. If you've never seen the Phantasm movies, great Blu-rays. The first movie has a 4K scan. The second movie has a 4K scan, but I think you can only get the 4K disc from it might be Turbine. No, not Turbine, because Go USA owns the rights. But I know you can get the 4K through media books and stuff from either Germany, France, or somewhere over there in Europe. I can't remember what company. So you can import 4K. 4K is what do you call it? Region free. So yeah, there you go. The Phantasm movies. Boy.
Interesting.
Yes.
I have not seen those or heard much about those.
It's really hard to explain them. Honest to God, it really is.
I believe you.
Because even though what you see is like cool, like you say, like there's these 2 guys, they're killing these little demon monster creature thing, hunting a tall man, chasing the tall man's chasing them. But the way each movie ends and stuff, it's like, did that really just happen? or was it a dream? So it's
Well,
hard to explain.
I prefer did that just happen compared to well that just happened.
Yeah,
That's preferred.
but there you go. What do you got for us, Rookie? What's your next pick?
All right. Honestly, that was my main picks of the night. I just threw this one together. I just picked a random one out because I didn't really have another one ready. I'll just do the Punisher. I enjoyed the what year was this? So the '90s Punisher, or was this early 2000s? The
It's 2000s.
one with the John Travolta one, of course, our favorite.
This has
with
been on the
that-
show a couple times.
Really? Oh, I
Yeah.
could see Runner doing it, of course. Yeah, probably a Runner one, right?
No, me and I think Tom. Did you bring on the 4K or was it Runner?
I have it, but I haven't brought it on, so it had to be running.
Might have been Runner or Steven. Yeah.
Possibly, but yeah, I mean, this is one that I saw when I was younger, and I freaking loved it. I mean, it had me a little confused on how he could survive all these bullet wounds and all this damage that he takes. I'm kind of like, other people seem to die from less than that. It was one of those first movies where I thought about that because he like gets shot a bunch, he gets stabbed a lot, cut a lot, like pretty much within close distance to an explosion, and like almost drowns, but he survives all this stuff. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
is he superpowers or no? Like invulnerability in some way or
No.
something?
He's just-
No, he just
he's
survives.
just really
this
hard to
stuff.
kill.
Really hard to kill. Yeah. And it has I don't know if this is your guys' one of your guys' favorite fight scenes in there with the wrestler guy or whatever, the Russian
Oh yeah.
dude. That's one of the most satisfying fights from back in the day to me because
You know you really got stabbed in that.
it just like there's that, and it looks like everything he does, he's just like, come on, man, like, can I please kill you or damage you? Like he hits him with like a sink practically, and it's like, I'm fine. God, he gets thrown through a wall, and it's like, dude, man. So the Punisher has a lot of that. I remember one of the scenes, whatever. That was the first time I heard you brought a knife to a gunfight. Then she's like, what you? It's like a ballistic knife or something that shoots at him. It was like, oh, what? Oh, shit. Okay, that surprised me. I was like, ooh, that was a nice little thing. And I remember like the son, the rebels on him in the office gives him a little weight of a little bomb. He's like, yeah, it's only 8 pounds. You seem like you work out, but doing that with an outstretched arm, see how long you last. And you later hear the explosion from it. And I was like, dude, that's some hardcore shit this dude does, man. Damn. Like I loved it. And the fact that like he's at a family reunion when they all get massacred, essentially.
Yeah.
Spoilers
They went a little crazy with that.
Like a lot of, because then I learned later, like from comic people, they're like, it's just his like wife and kid that get
Yeah,
killed.
his wife and kid.
But I'm
they
like,
went a little
oh,
crazy.
that sounds way less significant compared to the massacring of family, women, and children that he is like connecting with and bonding, having fun with. He's done, and then they're all getting mowed down and hunted down pretty much. I was like, yeah, no, like there's no one left. The bloodline is dead. Like that is some Game of Thrones cleansing right there with that. So I prefer that type of version, honestly, just because that was the first one that I saw. And then like when you tell me just the wife and kid, that is meaningful, impactful, but seems lesser by comparison, just from being exposed to the one first. It's just kind of in there like that. But
yeah,
I mean, I tried to watch the one that came later, the 2008. Is that where the next one came out? Because there's like 3 Punisher films, right?
Punisher Warzone.
Punisher Warzone. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people said that they love that one and that it's more like the comic or something. I don't know. I was okay, but I couldn't get over a lot of the acting in that one's like, I would like to have my applesauce back. It's like the way the weird guy talks to the guy, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. And then the one dude like does a flip and then gets like rocket launchered, and I'm just like, I mean, I guess that's funny, but I'm just like, I don't know. That's not. It didn't hit the same like this one did. I prefer the tone overall in this version.
Yeah, I like that one, but
compared to Warzone, I don't know.
I like that
I think I'd
one.
have to be in a certain mood for that one.
I like that one. Most people do prefer Warzone. Even Andre from Midnight's Edge, that's his favorite, because they believe Ray Parker was the best. Which, I mean, he was pretty accurate to the comics. So, but yeah, I always like that one. But that one is a John Travolta movie more than it is a Punisher movie, actually. So Brian Barth, John Travolta hams it up as the villain, as Saint. Really great in the movie. He's a pretty good villain. So, but yeah. I always liked that one. So I have no complaints about it, Rook.
Yeah, well, oh man, I'm remembering scenes as we're talking. Like he freaking like kills his own wife, or he gets set up to kill his own freaking wife. The
Yeah.
John Travolta character. I was like, dude, the Punisher not only like kills these people, he gets him to kill them for
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh
It's
my
punishment.
god,
It's not
some
vengeance.
shit.
It's punishment.
And then even the guy with the piercings, like he gets them. You don't see it, but it's implied. He gets them all ripped off his face, and he's like, "Fuck, dude, that's some." and then it's like, this is Marvel Comics. What?
Yeah,
what are you talking?
it's before
You
Marvel
crack?
had the rights. So
I think it says on the back that it's the Punisher, a tale true to its Marvel Comics origin.
yeah, that was before what we're into nowadays. So
exactly. I don't know. So this one's like one that I can always revisit if I want to feel like a rough little like tragic gory movie sort of. And I guess gory is not the right way to say it. Like gun gore, I guess, is that right? That's what I'm kind of going for with that. Like that's what I mean.
I unapologetically like the original with Dolph Lundgren.
Same here.
There's one that's prior to this one, right? That was made.
That's the original with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, I've yet to see that one, but I might. If you guys think it's pretty, I might check that out one of these days. It's never been like high on a list, but yeah.
I'm with you, Tom. I unapologetically love it too. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. But good pick there, Rook. Let's go on to you, Tom. You ready for your next one of the night?
I suppose. Okay, where am I going to go from here? This is one that I was talking about. They did in 5K scan. For some reason, it's only in Blu-ray, but I'm not so sure you could pull much out of it anyway. But maybe. And I was a little upset. I thought it was going to be a 4K disc, considering the price. So then I realized it comes with 3 movies. Now, the other 2 movies I really don't give a shit about, but I can definitely recommend Freaks.
Oh yeah.
If you've never seen it, it is a really good movie, actually. It's twisted. And this is pretty much the best version we're probably ever going to get sans a 4K release of this scan, because the original negative doesn't exist anymore. So they have the closest they can get to it for most of the parts of the film, but it looks pretty good for the most part. But they have not found, as far as I know, like any of the missing bits. But they do have quite a bit of making of and stuff like that on here. Well, not really a making of. It's more of talks about the history of Freaks more than anything and stuff like that. And then it also has The Unknown and The Mystic, which are 2 silent films from the same director. But they didn't really look like they interested me all that much. But no, I was pleasantly surprised by Freaks, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I wish we could get a better version than this at some point, and at least the completely uncut version. But
yeah,
I guess if this is what we're gonna get, we're gonna get it. I don't know if you guys have either seen it before or not, but
I've seen bits and pieces of it with the little guy. That's about all I really remember.
Yeah, the plot is pretty simple. It's it kind of dives into the world of circus freaks.
Mm-hmm.
And the plot revolves around this lady who wants to dupe one of the freaks into marrying her because she finds out that he's got money. And it boils around that. It's a little soap opera-y, but it's just it's an interesting little, just weird film from when to understand that it came out the same year as Dracula. Right, like I mean, it's a movie that has stuck around for years and years and years, and yeah, it's just it's different, and I can recommend it. A little pricey though for the just for a 2K Blu-ray from Criterion though.
Yeah, that's interesting though. That I wonder why they scanned it in like a 5K and then put it on a Blu-ray like that.
Because whoever owns it, I think Warner Brothers will probably release it in 4K themselves.
Oh, yeah, makes sense. Oh, well then that's one I've been wanting to pick up because I've always wanted to have that because I've always heard about it, and I do remember seeing like just certain little bits and pieces about it, and I've always heard about the movies itself. So that's something I really want to get in my collection. So
kind of like almost like a Twilight Zone episode kind of thing,
mm-hmm.
Because it's so short, because it's barely over an hour long. So I mean, in that respect, that's kind of what it feels like in a weird way. Especially the way it ends. It has like a weird twist ending to it. So yeah. But like one of the like all the gruesome stuff that was cut out, and what's funny is at the time they also cut it in a way that made all the circus freaks look worse than they really were in the original story, I guess. So yeah. But yeah, I can recommend it. I can't recommend the price though. $40 for a standard Blu-ray.
May have to wait for the Criterion sale again when it comes around. Yeah. So, what do we know? What happened to the negative? Do we know why it's been edited?
It's been gone. Well, it got edited way back when, just so it could get released. I mean, I have an idea of what was cut out, and that was like the gruesome death scenes, or not really death scenes, but the mutilation scenes, I guess, without getting too much into spoilers. Where at the end it's just kind of cut away, and then you don't see the result of the other one. So actually, it implies that they killed another character instead of just mutilating them. So yeah, like in the original story, though, they just mutilated them. So that's the scenes that are missing, basically. And then they cut it down even more. So this is actually the full version that existed prior to being cut down again, but it's still missing at least, I think, like 20 minutes to a half hour footage or something like that altogether. It got cut out of it, bits and pieces, and the two main sequences. That's my understanding of it, but yeah, it just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
they only had let me look here. See, I think it says here they used 35 millimeter nitrate dupe negative and 35 millimeter safety print. And what's funny is the ending that I believe was actually shot later to fix up some of the ending and then a reshoot. That looks 10 times worse than the rest of the film. So you can tell that's probably where the dupe negative is probably most of the movie, and then the safety film is probably used for the ending. Because they actually have on the discussion hour-long featurette thing that's on it, they actually show footage from the DVD, and it almost looked better on the DVD. In a weird way. I don't know what print that came from or what the difference was there. If they just, because it almost seems overblown in the newer version, like too bright, like it doesn't have the definition it should. So something they did to try and make it match up with the other stuff actually made it look worse, in my opinion, than the standard edition DVD version of the scene. So yeah.
Well, maybe we should
twisted little story.
Yeah. Maybe we should wait for the Warner Brothers 4K to see how that looks.
I don't know for sure, but that would be my guess is why they did it that way.
It'd be interesting. And I did not know this destroyed Todd Browning's career. So was this like because of because of the movie and the mutilation and stuff? Back then it wasn't seen, so it kind of burned his career, I guess, huh?
Well, and this was on the cusp of the Hays Code coming in a little like afterwards. But I mean, like by today's standards, like you can't judge it, right? But even by today's standards, I would say it was kind of progressive. Like that's the weird thing is how it was treated, how it was edited, made things a little worse at the end than what they were originally. Yeah, considering the original story that it's based on, the short story that's based on or whatever, like the main character is very unlikable and stuff like that, and the freaks aren't treated as humanely. Because like, I mean, the movie's point is really, there's a big point in it where, I mean, it's really what it's all about is that, you know, they're people too, right? Like, I mean, even at this time in history, you know, they were seen as less than or other than. But I mean, they take it in stride that they're circus freaks, but the movie's about them just living their normal lives, you know, through this little scheme that's going on, you know, and stuff like that. And it just, you know, and it really, the whole point of the film kind of hits a lot of that home without being blatant about it. It's kind of weird how progressive it was and how their editing made it less progressive at the time in a weird way, because it kind of demonized the freaks a little bit more.
Right.
But yeah.
Interesting. That is something I maybe I'll wait for a sale before I pick that one up, because that is something I do want to have.
Yeah, I can't recommend it at the price, but I love the film. I thought it was really, really brilliant.
Yeah. I've always heard it was a great film, and like from what I remember, what little bit I remember is like I remember I liked it. So,
and I mean, I don't know if Rookie would like it or not, but I mean, I'm definitely taking it from the context of the time that it came out and all that kind of business. So yeah,
that's
and the fact that they actually have real, quote unquote, freaks in the movie and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's something we gotta, like us as like movie fans, is like we can we always try to tell people like, you got to remember certain of these movies. These are from when this happens. We can still like the movie and stuff, but it's from this time period. We can handle the black and white. We can handle the message and
The
stuff like that, or
context and all
the
that,
context. That's what, yeah. So, all right. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we'll go to me. I watched this with the kids because they love it, and I love the movie too. Casper, the Friendly Ghost.
You need to call somebody else.
I have seen that film.
I love
Oh,
this
no
movie.
surprise there because you were white. Like what?
That was
kid?
perfect for the age for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say
90s kid.
96. I think it came out.
90s
But
kid.
yeah.
Yep. I was. Yeah, a couple years after that, probably. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
It.
I
Yep.
saw that in the theater, rookie.
So did I. I saw it in the theater too.
I probably saw it when it was like a rerun on Disney Channel or something. That's wherever they played it.
This is a really well done movie, though, for real. It's like it manages to do what a family movie is supposed to do. It's for the kids, it's for the adults, it's for everyone.
Good
And
cast.
It's good cast.
Yeah.
Christina Ricci, I think we all fell in love with her.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, I
at least
was
Tom and
already
I
in love
did
with her.
from the Addams Family. When
Honestly,
we were
that's the
kids.
whole reason I went to see it.
Right. Plus, she was like getting into teenagers age, like 13.
Yeah, I already had a crush on her from Adam's Family.
And
shit,
I was,
so, yeah.
we were all kind of getting to that age growing up with her. So we was like, maybe Wednesday's really hot. So, we're like, Casper, can we keep you? Yeah. So, it's a good movie. The kids love it. So they were watching it. And I just, the ghosts, Stinky, Fatso, and all them are Stretch are great. Casper's great. Bill Pullman's great. Eric Idle's great. It's just it's pretty damn solid. Kathy Moriarty, it's got a great story to it, and this is like one of the things like where nobody would said, oh, they're going to make Casper into a live action movie. Don't do that. Like nowadays, you hear, oh, they're going to make gargoyles into a live action movie, and everybody's going, no. So this was
Don't change it.
Yeah,
No.
Casper was okay.
Well, this was
to do
Spielberg's
it,
second attempt at doing. He produced the Flintstones and he produced this right around the same era. Yeah.
The Amblin.
Oh,
through
this has
Amblin.
Spielberg's touch on it.
Yeah.
Well, he produced it, but yeah.
Through Amblin, yeah. But it's
Oh, wow.
it's a good movie. Yeah. Brad
It's a good one.
Sibberling.
Yeah, I don't know much that I'd say about it right now. I haven't seen it in forever, so like I don't remember enough about it. But I remember there's enough scenes in it that are like, yeah, good enough, especially for a kid to watch it and like not be too freaked out, but like feel like, oh no, what's gonna happen with that or something kind of moments. Don't they have like weird contraptions in the basement or something? And then like the
the way
dad,
the chair goes down because his dad was an inventor.
yeah, he's like inventing things. And didn't they make like a whole little franchise out of the live action Casper?
I believe there was a bunch of like straight to video sequels that were never as good as that one.
Yeah, it was the kind of thing where I'm like, did that actually happen, or am I imagining it because there's so many of those types of films around that I just assumed?
There's
that
either
also has-
2 or 3 straight to video sequels. I can't remember how many.
Did it have any of the original cast in there still, or
No, just
cast?
Ghost. It's just all the ghosts. And I'm not even sure all the voices kept going with them. So
The sequels are always funny with that kind of thing, with the direct to TV or DVD ones or whatever. It's just like, hey, let's do sequels and not have the same people do them. Okay.
yeah,
They probably can't afford them at that point, right? Because the budget.
No, it's because like those movies make a good amount of money, and they knew in the 90s that they would sell on tape, so they could just make like a sequel it out on tape and make lots of money off of it, because people will be like, hey, you remember Casper? There's another one.
Right. Oh, yeah. So I guess that's another perspective that I even had at one point. But to go back to, it's like, yeah, you can buy it to watch whenever you want to, or you try to catch it on TV. But you want to watch it when you want to. You buy the physical version of it. Nowadays, it's like it's
not
always
coming back is pretty much budgetary reasons usually.
right.
And then I think there was 2 of them. I think there was a Halloween one and a Christmas one, if I remember right.
That's what I was thinking. There was like a Halloween one. I remember they'd play.
Like
Was it a
Casper
Disney
and
one? Is
Wendy
it
the
a
Witch,
Disney one? If it's not
something.
Disney, I want to say they played out like ABC Family or something.
It's Universal. I think they were on the ABC Family ones.
I think
Yeah.
so. One of those channels. There's always like, there's that grouping of those channels where these types of movies would play, essentially. I like that one too.
Yeah.
Fun little
But
kids one.
It's a pretty solid movie. It's got great cameos by Dan Aykroyd as one of the
Devin
Ghostbusters.
Sawa.
Devin Sawa. Like we talk about Christina Ricci, how we all, I mean, when he comes down the steps and Casper comes down the step and he's Devin Sawa, like the prepubescent teen girls lost their freaking mind because he was like, they loved him. So you got him in the movie. You get the Crypt Keeper, Clint Eastwood's in the movie. What's his name? The guy that plays the preacher in the beginning. No problem whatsoever. He was always great.
Father Sarducci.
Yeah, Father Sarducci. I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, so it's got
Saturday
some great.
Night Live, yeah.
Yep. He's got some great cameos, and it's a good story, and it's pretty solid special effects. I'll be honest, the ghost special effects hold up pretty damn well compared to today. They're not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, they look almost like cartoony ghosts, but it works because it's a ghost. It's like it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
well,
They
like,
also had an animated series as well. I think the uncles or whatever. I think they were all the same voices throughout, but that was a
Yeah, I think they were
Casper
the
one,
ones.
but yeah, the live action version of Casper was Devin Sawa, but I don't remember if he did. I don't think he did the voice.
No, he didn't. I don't think so. I think they had another kid do the voice. But
right,
yeah,
but,
good. It's a pretty good, solid
It
movie.
was
Watch
actually
around.
probably a grown woman that did the voice, but yeah.
right. Children,
Let's find out
yeah.
real quick. Let's find out who did the voice of Casper real quick. Let's see, Casper.
Blackroyd in the chat says every dad in the '90s was an inventor.
He was. They were. Come on, give me the cast of Casper here. Who was the voice of Casper? Where you at?
Yeah, it's probably either an actual child or a woman that can do a kid's boy voice.
Generally don't like to use kids because their voice changes.
That's a good point.
That's usually why they generally get a woman to do a boy's voice.
Yeah, typically.
Makes sense. Well, and you can assume that they could have a wider range of inflections and whatnot, and with the kid.
Malachi Pearson did the voice of, and he was actually a boy. He was actually a young boy.
Oh, and when you say that, it's just funny in modern day standards.
Then.
When you say it's actually a boy, it's like, oh, he's like actually a biological boy. God,
That's it. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, so there you have it. But yeah, there you go.
They didn't have Sawa do both the voice and the live action part. But yeah.
That would make a lot more sense. But maybe they were hoping that when he walked down the steps, people wouldn't have noticed, or so. I don't know.
Maybe, who knows? Or like I said, maybe it was an afterthought.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you know, it'd be really cool. What if we have him become human?
Live action, yeah. And then, we got to get somebody. Yeah. The girls will really want.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe how big of a teen idol he was at one point.
Right. That's why it's like when I first saw, like you brought it up earlier, now I want to watch it. Idle Hands. It's like when I first saw Idle Hands, I could not believe that was Devin Sawa because I remembered the girls loving him from Little Giants, Casper, stuff like that, because he had the blonde hair, like the 90s boy with blonde hair, and he was like this teen heartthrob.
Oh, yeah, he was the recruit kid in Little Giants or whatever.
And then
he was like Dime Star Leo.
Yeah. And then I'm watching the Idle Hands and he's smoking weed and killing people. And I'm like, what the hell? This guy's cool.
Oh my God, you're trying to get high with your friends?
I think he was trying to change his image at that point. But yeah.
Yeah. And it turns out he's a huge horror fan. So
good.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. Ruck, I don't think you have any more, do you?
Correct.
Okay. So Tom, if you're ready for another pick, it's to you.
Oh shit! I was messing with the project here. I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's all right. All right. So let's see. Where am I going to go with this one? I got technically 2 more picks, but I got like 8 movies sitting here. Let's do this first. A while back, I brought on the 4K of the original, but this has been out of print for a while in the U.S., so I imported The Howling 2. Your Sister is a Werewolf.
Yes.
From Cove Films or whatever. And it also comes with Scream Queens, believe it or not, too. So that's kind of cool. But it's a nice digibook set. Can't read it unless you can read German, but I mean,
Ich not the Scream Queen.
What's weird is I remember this movie, but I don't remember it being as cheesy as it is. And I'll tell you right now, there's 2 songs in the movie.
Really?
That's it. There's 2 songs in the
Just
movie.
2
Like
songs?
they play over, especially the one over and over and over and over and over and over and over
No,
and over again.
No.
And then at the end, they play it again.
no.
Just in case you didn't hear it the first
That sounds like
500
torture.
times.
It sounds like torture.
Technically, I think like 3 songs, but they only sing the other 2 songs like twice and once. And the one other song is over and over, and they have an instrumental version of it and a words version of it. And I swear, every scene change, they play the song. Anybody who's seen this movie knows exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
They play different songs so you get a relief of like, oh, it's not that song. And then once you start hearing
that
the
often.
music,
Only
you're like,
one.
no.
Or only twice in the whole movie, I think, or whatever. Like, yeah, because like, and they use a lot of the same footage over and over again. And I guess the director was really pissed because he did not want this movie to be the way it was. And they keep having like this one chick in it. The stars
Yes.
Christopher Lee. Trying to think of her name, trying to find her name here.
Sybil Danning.
Is it Sybil Danning? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is constant. Like she has a scene where she rips off her dress, and they show it in the credits.
17 times she gets naked in the movie.
17 fucking times, and like, I mean, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with it, but like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
movie
For the
is just
plot,
like,
okay? It's for the plot.
it's a tough watch. It's
Mhm.
not. I mean, it picks up where this first movie leaves off, sort of. Now, the guy who wrote the original novels, he wrote a series of novels, and they claim that the movie's based on the second novel, but it's not.
Yeah, no way.
And it's not. You know, it's funny how when you have 2 movies that are alike, and the one that's the most famous and the better of the 2 doesn't spawn any sequels, but then the one that isn't as good does.
Of course.
Mhm.
Like,
That's just the way of
it's
life.
really American Werewolf in London was a much better film, but this is the one that had all the sequels, and Joe
Yeah.
Dante's not involved in them, and they're only all tangentially connected to each other in weird ways.
Yeah.
They're all made by different fucking companies. This one's made by Hemdale.
Was it called my werewolf was a sister?
That's that one.
Or my
Yeah.
sorry, my sister's a werewolf.
And 2 sister werewolves in this movie, mind you. And then you got The Howling 3, which came out from Shout Factory, I believe, back in 2009 with a 4K scan. And this movie's weird as fuck.
That movie does not deserve a 4K scan.
Not only that, it's PG-13. It's barely connected with the rest of the movies. It claims to be based on Howling 3, which it's not, because actually Howling 4 is more based on the Howling 3 book, I believe. Or that's
Mhm.
based on the original book. One of them is. Maybe it's the 4th one. I don't know. They're all out of fucking whack. There's like 8 of these bastards. And I don't think I'm going to go much farther than this. Maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. I'm not going much farther than that. Because this one was bad. This was actually made by Australia. Like, this was made with Australian fan funding. But what's weird is it has the same director as this one.
Oh,
But it's like they
God.
went out of their fucking way to almost make this. Like, you didn't, like, I can tell, like, in most countries, it was probably was just released as the Marsupials.
Mhm.
Because it's supposed to be called Howling 3 the Marsupials.
The Marshall,
The
yeah.
US is called Howling 3. Like I said, it was an Australian produced film. So there's a bunch of like Australian actors that you'll recognize in it, but there's like hardly anybody else in it that you would ever recognize. The special effects are garbage. There's no consistency to the werewolves. Of course, there was very little consistency to the werewolves in this
Yeah.
one either, but a lot less here.
Oh, like I
lot
said,
less here.
That does not deserve a
I cannot
4K scan.
recommend this fucking movie. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why it has the 4K scan.
That does not
This
deserve
movie's
it.
cheesy fun,
Mhm.
right? This movie's just a waste of 90 fucking minutes. I wish I could recommend it. I wish I hadn't paid like 17, 18 bucks for the fucking Blu-ray. Yeah.
Yeah. It's bad.
Honestly, that I don't remember. There's wolves that look kind of like that in the movie, but they are so horrible looking. Like the puppetry is so bad.
That's like the pregnant one, right? Where she gives
Yes.
birth.
And
Yeah.
that's the weird
Yeah.
thing. It has this weird fucking, it goes in this weird direction with the story where it goes from like semi starting out like a horror movie and then becoming like this weird family movie in the middle of the movie. It just gets weird. And It has a dumb ending. And it's not like it's a bad ending, it's just dumb.
Yeah.
And it's really unsatisfactory. I can't recommend them.
It's sad.
What's weird though is that song really fucking sticks with you from part 2.
It's in your head now forever.
It is now in your head forever. It has a really catchy, like, little thing going on in it. The music is horrible. The lyrics are fucking horrendous, and the name of the song is Howling.
Yeah. I know Christopher Lee apologized to Joe Dante for the Howling Part 2. I know that because it's actually I think
this movie is.
That is in
that's the actress in it that plays the lead journalist lady. She is one of the world's worst fucking actresses I've ever fucking seen. Anne McElroy, I think her name is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess let me see what she was in Beetlejuice, I guess. As one of the guests. She's been in other movies, but she is a horrible fucking actress in this movie. Like, she's in a completely different movie than everybody else. Like, she's been in a bunch of different movies, but looks like she's like Dinner Guest 1, Woman at Laundromat, Crying Woman.
great resume she has.
By number 4. Right? Like, she became an actress mainly, I guess. She's a horrible fucking actress.
Oh,
horrible
man. Yeah.
Yeah, but the lead guy is Red Brown. He's all right.
Yeah,
but he has kind of he's probably one of the more stable ones. Christopher Lee's just kind of hamming it up, like in a weird. As much as Christopher Lee can ham it up, that's him hamming it up, I guess. I mean, I'm not even sure if he knows what part he's playing exactly, but.
And what's to do with the Transylvania thing? They're werewolves, not vampires.
There's a whole it's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I mean, they have their own area in Transylvania, I guess, but you've seen it though, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
really And the weird thing is, okay, this is the other thing I can't figure out about this release. They have the open map version in standard definition. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They have an alternate opening and an alternate ending, which I can't tell the difference between the two, other than the credits. Like the credits are placed differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the DVD, the cut on the DVD is like 4 minutes shorter. And I can't tell what's different. It doesn't say what's different. I can't read the German anyway, but I still can't make out anything. As far as I can tell, it's just a straight DVD transfer of what's on the Blu-ray, but for some reason it's 4 minutes shorter. I don't know if it's at the PAL speed or something like that they did it on purpose that way, just for people who wanted it at that speed, maybe. Or is it edited in other countries and this is the UK cut? It doesn't specify anything on here, but it runs 4 minutes. And I checked, I jumped at the beginning and the end, and I'm like, well, it still has all the tit shots. So, of course, over there, tits doesn't matter. I don't know. Somebody knows why that is. I don't know. I can't. It doesn't specify.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
I think maybe that's what it is they just have it running at the higher frame rate for the PAL.
Probably.
So then it gets sped up just slightly. And that's usually the case. There's about a 4 or 5 minute difference usually.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And yes, Brian Barth, the Howling is the best.
One is the best.
The best. And what happened to Joe Dante? He made the Howling, and he made. Then
he went on to make other things like
Small Soldiers, Gremlins 2. That's great. He's made The Burbs, tons of great movies.
Inner Space.
Inner Space. He's one of my all-time favorite directors. And he has one of my favorite clips I use here all the time.
Somebody said, well, it's because kids won't watch black and white. And you know what I say? Fuck them. They can't watch black and white.
It's one of my favorite clips of him. And that's what, matter of fact, that's where In Search of Darkness is where he says Christopher Lee apologized to him for the Howling Part 2. So, yes, Matinee is awesome too. I have not seen Matinee in years. Thank you, Dan Blickert. I forgot about that one almost. That's a great movie. Well, he is like 78 years old, I think. So he's kind of retired. Isn't I think he's like 78. I'm not sure, but yeah. Just watch Trailers from Hell. He does Trailers from Hell on YouTube all the time. But okay, I guess it's to me, and then Tom. Do you have one more after that or whatever? Okay.
Technically, yes, but I have 5.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I brought this one on before, but I wanted to just in case. I don't know. Willy's Wonderland. Did I bring this one on before?
Oh, awesome.
I don't know if I did. Either way, this is a great movie.
Yes.
This is a good one here. Nicolas Cage as a silent man in a Willy's Wonderland, like Chuck E. Cheese, just kicking animatronics ass.
Mm.
That's all you really need to know. It's a sort of a slasher movie.
Mm.
It's good. I love it. It's a fun movie. Clearly based off of the Five Nights at Freddy's thing, but I think it's also its own in its own right. And I just love how he'll go from killing one and then going right back to cleaning and stuff like it's like nothing's happening. So I love it.
On your face.
Yeah,
I
movie.
freaking love that movie. I watched Pig and Willy's Wonderland in like the same week, and I was like, this man is I need to see more Nick Cage films.
Oh, Nick Cage is awesome. Awesome. Good night, Brian Bart. Thanks for hanging with us this evening and night. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think I might have brought it on the show once before, but if I did, it was a few years ago. I don't remember. But with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie coming out soon and stuff, I thought,
I think the film's like 2 years old, so it wasn't that long.
Well, yeah, I don't remember how long ago. We've been doing like 113 episodes, man.
Yeah, no, for you,
sometimes
I know.
It gets hard to remember what movies.
Right, revisiting sometimes. But Willy's Wonderland was freaking great. I mean, and I loved how he did not say anything at all, not even one little thing.
It's such a great. It's legitimately a great character for him because Nick Cage is known for his voice and trying stupid different voices for his movies. That's what he used to do, and the fact that he does a whole movie where he doesn't say a word and it like stills the movie.
You would think that the director would you'd almost think that the producers or whoever would be like, it's too risky to have a Nick Cage not say anything. Like, but I'm glad that they went that way because you physically get Nick Cage, you get his mannerisms, you get the mannerisms of the Cage without the voice to accompany it. And some people, I've heard some people say that it makes no sense that he doesn't talk. I don't know, man. If that's something you want to, I don't know. Like I've questioned this as like creatively for filmmaking wise. Like, can you have silent protagonists and have that work in the story? I mean, you might not know why they don't speak, but I mean, must you know why? Like they could choose not to for whatever reason.
I think his character not speaking makes perfect sense. Like he just comes on and like he's this very intimidating, badass dude in a leather jacket. He almost feels like he's a character from another. Like he himself is almost a slasher.
He's doing his own journey of something. And then his car gets messed up, and he's just doing what he needs to do to get his car back and up and running. And that's it.
He doesn't need to say anything.
He likes his purple drink. And he doesn't really care about anybody. He's just like around. I guess he sort of saves like that one chick. Once,
I think he feels a connection with her, what she's going through. But the rest of the people, I don't think he really gives a crap about. He's just doing his job and cleaning the place.
It's just like, it's just, I find it funny too. It's like, oh, you're trapped here, and he's like, yeah, I'm still cleaning the place though. And then
I want my car fixed, and I'm cleaning the place.
Like, you don't need to hear him say that at all. He conveys that. The weird little animatronics seem to have like their own thing. I love the things that they say sometimes. With like they have funny dialogue to me. I remember the bird's like, "I'm gonna feast on your face." Yeah, I didn't expect the voice. I didn't expect the way it would move, and then I think he just slaps it. Like right.
I mean, it's got a creative story too. Like with the fact that Willy's Wonderland was set up by a serial killer who was luring kids there, and basically killing them. And then he kind of got the Chucky thing where they perform a ritual to possess the animatronics.
Like people present the offerings so that
they present an offering to them, so they keep taking them.
That he kept on killing people, right? And then they're like, okay,
they kept sneaking out.
we'll give you victims to kill. Is that okay? Is it okay.
Yeah, that's what they would do. They would hire people like Nicolas Cage, which they didn't expect Nicolas Cage to be who he was, but they like, oh, you clean this and we'll do something for you, and that was them feeding people to the the evil there, and then Nicolas Cage shows up and he takes them out. So
yeah, and look,
great.
he's not even a physical presence really, but he's believable enough. Like he's fit enough that looks like he could do what he does, but he's not like one you would pick for it. He looks like a regular kind of guy, in a weird way. He looks like a regular guy, like, even though he's Cage, he looks regular enough. And like you said, like if they were to continue it, for all we know, he's gonna go be the serial killer of his town. But like he
comes off like he's it seriously comes off like he's another horror movie character, possibly even a slasher himself, set into this world. That's what it almost feels like. Or,
like,
like
I don't even
that
know
he witnessed and survived another horrible slasher type event himself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get his motivation, but he loves his drink and he loves playing that arcade game. And
that's all you need to
he
know.
Likes to drive, and it's like he's good at cleaning. He's focused. He's very focused on cleaning. I don't think he'd care. Like he's clean up the blood of whatever the body is. He's just like, yep, I'm just cleaning up, and then I'm gonna be able to go home after this, and that's all good. I don't even think he'd care if the curse continued or not, or if all the animatronics are killed or not. How that story plays out, as long as they're in his way, he'll deal with it. That's it.
But yeah, there you go. It is a good movie. It's a good scary movie to watch around this time of year, and I wasn't sure if I had brought it on or not. If I did, I apologize. Sometimes I do forget, because we do have a lot of movies, and I try to watch new ones I get and old ones I've had all together, because I like watching my physical media. But there you go. So Tom, if you're ready for your final pick, or however you want to do this, we'll get you started. Johnny Cage takes a detour through purgatory. I like that.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is my final pick for the night, but it's 5 movies.
All right.
And I dug this out, finally finding it, and I've been talking about it for a long time. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen.
That is so beautiful.
The Book of the Dead. It's already fallen apart.
I see it.
I even did more damage when I did this, but just so you guys can see it, I actually did really high quality scans. So here we go. If you want to share that.
Nice. I love the ear. I love the ear.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like the texture there. It's like really cool. And then there's the first page. This was put together by Tom Sullivan, sorry, not Tom Savini.
Nice.
As you see there. So there's his little introduction. There you go.
This is awesome.
Damn. Is that from Evil Dead or a different?
Yeah, it's Evil
non-specific. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Is that Criterion Collection or like? No,
it's actually Anchor Bay. It's a DVD.
Yeah, I remember this one. I always missed out getting this one.
Every time I touch this bastard, it keeps falling apart. More shit keeps falling off of it.
How much did it cost you?
Back in the day, it wasn't that expensive, but now you'll be lucky to get your hands on it for like less than $100 in most cases.
Yeah,
especially brand new.
Damn. Did the pages feel old too, sort of?
They just feel like regular pages. But what's cool is you get all the art from the original book. As you see here, they did a really good job with it. There you go. That's the Book of the Dead. So
now, is there a Book of the Dead that the movie took inspiration from, or did they like create what is in this Book of the Dead?
As far as I know, the Necronomicon is supposed to be like a thing.
Yeah, it's based off the Necronomicon from like H.P. Lovecraft and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
But of course, I have. Sorry, I'm eating too. The 4K edition.
Mm-hmm.
Looks really good. What's weird is they did like a 7.1 sound mix way back in the day for like this version, but they didn't carry it over to this. But it is on the DVD or the Blu-ray that's in here, though, I think, which is weird. But no, the 4K looks really, really good. Now, if you want all the special features, you're also going to have to get these two.
Right, because there's so many releases of this movie.
But I think most of these are on one of these. Actually, this one just has the commentary, so you don't need this one. Yeah, you definitely want to get, if you can get your hands on this one still, this is an excellent set. Just because it has so much shit on it. And not much of which has ever been carried over again. And this movie's been released on disc 50 fucking times.
Yeah, so many times. I
So
got
many
multiple
times.
copies myself.
So yeah, so no, I can recommend it. It's a classic. And then of course we have Evil Dead 2.
I've seen Evil Dead 2. Yes.
Now this is just the Blu-ray and the DVD of the same thing. This is the 25th anniversary Blu-ray, which is also, I believe, in here. Whoops. Here. Now, this scan is good, not quite as good as the first film, but in some ways it's better, in some ways it's not because it's 35. But I'm convinced that Bruce Campbell has stolen all of his glamour shots from Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness.
Wouldn't surprise me.
From the negative. Because
Right.
like, all the negative seems to be there for the most part, except for like groovy. And some of those kind of shots, they're not from the negative. It's like, did Bruce steal those?
Would not surprise me.
Because this is pretty good too. Universal did the scan. But what's new about this one, and I also have the steelbook here too, of course.
Nice.
And, the old Blu-ray and the original Anchor Bay DVD.
Nice.
This is an old ass fucking DVD. This is older than my kid.
You know, I still have my VHS tapes of those from when I was a kid. My actual ones from when I was a kid.
But yeah,
I think
so
I saw Army of Darkness on TV as a kid at the part where there's the little copies coming around, and then from there to the end of the film. Love
they have
Army
the
of
TV version on there now too.
Mm-hmm.
So you get like 4 different cuts of the movie.
Nice.
And if the theatrical cut's the only one in 4K, which is fine by me because that's the version I like most. But after I got done with that trilogy, I realized actually I got another pick after this, by the way.
Well, I'm out. I'm all
Okay,
out.
well I'll just keep going then.
Go ahead, keep going.
I'm like, you know what? I have not watched the damn remake or the new one. And I've had the remake sitting in plastic for years. I just never watched it. But I happened to pick up the 4K from
Now, what did you
Shout.
think of this one?
transfer wise. I don't know if it's much better than this. It's a digital.
Yeah, I
film.
heard the transfer is not very good on that.
It's not there. It's
Yeah.
nothing to scream about.
Mid-level media ripped into it a little bit. So
Movie wise, I didn't really care for it.
really, I
It's
kind
all
of
right.
like it.
It's just it doesn't have the Evil Dead humor to it.
It's
it
taken much
doesn't-
more serious. Yeah.
Yes, and they take the Ash character and split it over the brother and sister. And I
Mhm.
wasn't a big fan of the whole heroin thing for the reason them being out there and
Mhm.
shit. I kind of seen a lot of that coming from my way. Not quite sure I agree with the ending, even though Ash has been the only person to ever come back from being a deadite to normal.
Yeah.
They do that with this character as well. Spoilers
It's weird.
in the movie.
I don't mind that one. Honestly, I don't
It's all
mind.
right. It was definitely better than this piece of shit.
it. Finally,
Who
this
the
is what I
wait,
want
fuck
to hear.
made this?
Wait, was that
My-
supposed to be actually connected to Evil Dead? I thought that was like just a similar type of title. but
No,
not
it's Evil
actually
Dead.
Evil Dead.
It's Evil
Well,
Dead.
I did not get that impression on the commercial.
It is horrible.
This
It's not
is
a
what I
very
would-
good movie in the least. Now
Rip
look
into
wise,
it, please, because I've heard
this
so
is a
many
s-
people.
this is straight 4K. So look wise, it looks good. Okay.
Mhm.
I will say that sound wise, Dolby Atmos sounds great, looks amazing. 4K shot in like 5 or 6K and processed and all done native in 4K. So in that respect, looks good. Yes, Scott, this fucking movie sucks. And it's just the modern characters suck. Okay, you've actually got the trans guy, chick, whatever that's in One Piece. They play a boy in this movie. They suck. The mother sucks. They've got some YouTube star or something or other as the main chick. She fucking sucks too as an actress. All these actresses fucking suck. And there's the best actress is the little girl. There's like a 8-9-year-old girl. She's probably the best of the bunch. But it's like, how much fucking feminine power can we get shoved into one movie? So much feminine power that the only boy in the cast is actually a girl.
This is what I wanted to hear.
They don't bring it up. Now, mind you, it's not a point, but I didn't mind them playing, I can't remember, the Toby or Kobe or whatever their character was in One Piece. It fit because that character's supposed to be a wimpy little character.
Yeah.
Here it felt out of place because they're clearly trying to play like a 12-year-old boy, and it just feels fucking awkward. And nobody can act in this movie except for the one sister character. And the whole thing leads up to her personal bullshit. And it is just a dumb fucking movie. Just the whole point of it. Just the whole fucking plot. Because you start at the end, which is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's left is like the sequel after this is supposed to be Evil Dead World. Because this actually did well in theaters, kids. So be prepared. We're going to get another one.
Yeah.
And you didn't even get a groovy at the end from any. No, Bruce Campbell's not in this anywhere to be seen, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
If he is, I don't know where he's at.
He is in the movie. He's on
where?
He's on the tape when it reads.
That's his voice. I didn't even notice.
Yeah. That's all I know because my nephew saw it in theaters. I have not seen it because honestly, I thought
so he's on the record, actually.
Yeah, he's on the record.
And you can't tell because, it's dumb because the kid doesn't have a 78 record, so he's got to go like this to make it go faster.
Yeah.
So the voice is wobbling the whole time anyway, so that's why I probably couldn't tell.
Yeah. So that's what, but my nephew saw it in theaters and he was like, he goes, you know, when you go in looking for a steak and then they give you a hamburger, that's what this movie was.
No humor in it.
Yeah.
Some of the more gruesome killings happen off screen.
Nice. Oh yeah, I've just, to me it did not look good. I mean, I know that Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi's behind it, but it does not necessarily mean what they're making is going to be good. And I know so many people were saying this movie's so good, this movie's so good, and I'm like, I don't like that because when everybody's saying something is so good, then it's more than likely it's not as good as it is.
Usually overhyped.
I felt like it was way too overhyped. Like with the Evil Dead remake, the other one, what's technically,
if that's all you saw and then you saw this, you'd probably think it's fine.
Right. So from what I understand, like the Evil Dead remake and this Evil Dead, they're not remakes, they're kind of like sequels and they're set in their own worlds because they're going very H.P. Lovecraft, because like we've said, the Necronomicon is from H.P. Lovecraft, and it's like worlds amongst worlds. Like
the Evil Dead is treated, the Kandorian bit is treated more like a virus than a possession now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know actually, because I feel like those are two very different things.
I mean, it's similar but different, right? It's really hard to explain. It's like in the original film, like it's like this, you just get possessed by them, right?
Possession makes it seem intentional. Virus
exactly
makes it seem like it's natural.
But that's the weird thing is here, like, yeah, because it just bounces around to wherever it wants to go. It doesn't really, it's kind of indiscriminate.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you get attacked, you have a chance of becoming or whatever. So there's that kind of part is there, similar to this, but like in this version, it's like that's how it spreads. Right.
Yeah,
like, and it actually is part of the setup that kicks it off and then set it off at the end. It's like, oh, this thing's going to spread out into the world now.
This almost sounds like maybe that somebody had a script for a different horror movie and it's
like a virus zombie movie. Yes.
Yeah. Let's just make it an Evil Dead movie. It's like, okay. So this is why I've been putting off seeing this movie, because
to be honest, this movie seems like it was a movie written for COVID and it was a take on COVID. And it treats the Evil Dead, the Kandorian bit, more like a virus than a curse, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
You're probably not wrong, especially considering since aren't they like held up in the
Dead by Dawn bit is just fucking annoying.
Oh, I'm glad I haven't watched it yet because
you just have all the dead bodies going Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn. And that's the closest you get to the original, really.
Right.
And they're not even doing it in a funny way. Like none of the humor's in this remake and the new whatever sequel you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like there's zero humor in these. It's like that was kind of what made Evil Dead. Even in the first movie, there's kind of hints of it. But what
Mhm.
made the second and third film so famous was it wasn't about so much the horror, it was just they were hilariously gory, right? And fun.
Right. And see, I agree with you too, but like with the remake or whatever, I kind of like that they took it a little serious, but it's nowhere near in the leagues of the Evil Dead 2, or Army of Darkness. So I didn't mind it too bad. I thought it was
It's
a
all
decent
right.
horror
It's
movie.
a mid to whatever kind of remake.
I thought it was like, yeah, it's fine. And then like with the Evil Dead Rise, I knew right off the bat when I saw a trailer for that, I was like, nope, there's no way this is a good movie. And then like now I kind of feel bad for the kid that was if I don't know if you saw it, but like some guy stood up after a screening and was screaming that this movie sucks, and Bruce Campbell and them kicked him out of the building, and everybody was booing him. But I guess he was pretty on the nose. So I kind of feel
Well, I
bad for
guess
that
that
guy
tells
now.
you a thing or two about Bruce Campbell, but I've heard good things
Yeah.
about him too. So.
Oh yeah, I've heard he's a good guy and everything, but of course he's going to sell this movie. I mean, he's behind it.
Sucked. It sucked.
Yeah.
I'd say it to his face. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd have to too.
But on that note, my runner moment, since I buzzed through those pretty quick.
Go ahead.
A movie that could have been a Friday the 13th sequel and is considered the best of the Friday the 13th ripoffs.
Oh,
now,
nice.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but it got a 4K release.
Yes, I know. I love this movie. I did not get 4K yet, but I know what you're talking about.
Do you know what it is?
The Burning.
Yes. The Burning.
I love this movie.
It might as well have been a Friday the 13th.
It might as well. It's a shame.
Even though it's made by a completely different company, but I mean, it really is. I mean, you could almost cut this as a sequel to Friday the 13th.
You really could. You really could. And it's a shame it does not have a sequel, because if any movie deserved
it's like Deliverance meets Friday the 13th. It's really good film. It's so much better than it has a fucking right to be.
Exactly.
It has such a great cast in it, considering you got a young Fisher Stevens, a young what's his face from Seinfeld, Jason Alexander, Helen Hunt's in here, but I don't think she gets a line.
Yeah.
And the other kid I've seen in a bunch of other shit too. I'm trying to think of his name. But yeah, no, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. Like I was expecting it to be just kind of like whatever, but by the time I got through it, I'm like, this movie's really keeping me entertained. They've done a really good job of spreading out the kills. It doesn't take forever to get going, right? Like it doesn't. Right. I mean, there's plenty of boobs and everything else you need. I mean,
yeah, it's perfect.
The weirdest thing is that it's one of Harvey and Bob Weinstein's early movies. That's the weird thing.
It is. It was more so Bob, because he was always the horror guy.
Harvey got story credit. Bob got screenplay credit.
Yeah.
And then they both produced it. So yeah.
But it is a really, really good movie. It's a pretty solid Friday the 13th style movie, and it is a shame that it never did get like a sequel, because
actually it's a bit Joey, no, I wouldn't. It's actually a bit classier than some of the Friday the 13th movies. It almost feels like they spent a little bit more money, because Tom Savini did this instead of Friday the 13th too.
Yeah.
And what's weird is this almost could work as a Friday the 13th too. Like if you just cut out the beginning and pretend it's Jason, it works. I mean, you have to cut out a few things, but I mean, other than that, I mean, it works as a Jason movie too. Like, I mean, as deformed as he is and shit like that, he almost looks kind of like Jason at that point. But yeah,
Cropsy. Plus, like,
yeah,
the Tashir's lead into Friday the 13th Part 5 though, for real. Because like Roy uses.
That's the only thing is he definitely. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only thing that's probably definitively his. Like he definitely has a favorite weapon.
Yeah.
Compared to Jason, like So
yeah.
But I mean, early on, Jason didn't start using the machete all the time until midway through part 3 and 4. So
yeah, yep. But it is. How does the 4K look? Because I still have the Shell
really
Factory
good,
Blu-ray.
really good. I wish they had done like a sound upgrade. That's the only thing I didn't like about the movie. The soundtrack is horrendous.
Yeah. It doesn't have the best soundtrack. That is true.
No, the music is way like out of place in a lot of scenes. Like the main theme for the movie's not horrible, but like the music throughout the movie seems like a completely different movie or something. I don't understand. and it's like this weird Moog synthesizer kind of like fucking thing. Like they're clearly trying to emulate Friday the 13th a little bit, but not. And that's probably, if anything, the movie's biggest downfall besides the music is like, look, you guys had a pretty interesting original idea. And almost if you wouldn't have had to make, you could have cut out the summer camp part of it and just made it about, group of teenagers canoeing, like, and just basically had it be Friday the 13th meets, Deliverance, because that's kind of what it is really at the end of the day. I mean, the first part is kind of like a Friday the 13th movie, and then it turns into its own kind of thing in the last half with the older kids going off on the, the boat thing. And then like when their boats get, like I was like not even, it was a step ahead of me every part of the movie. I'm like, I was really surprised because I'm like, they started doing a few things here. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't even think about the boats, and all that other kind of shit. Like I'm like, just little things. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. And and the characters are really actually decent.
Pretty solid. Yeah, they're pretty solid characters.
They're pretty well developed. I mean, even the bully's not two-dimensional, right? Like, I mean, even Fisher Stevens, who's like a side character, you feel bad when he gets killed.
Yeah.
Jason Alexander is the only one who kind of feels out of place. I mean, he feels like a 40-year-old hanging out with kids.
He's like, he put his arm on the guy's like, look at that ass.
I'm sorry. There's no fucking way. Because this ain't even that many years before Seinfeld. Come on.
Like the biggest part that is like when he is putting his arm on that guy and they're looking at that chick's ass, and it's like you feel like you're an undercover cop at this moment right now, Jason Alexander.
Especially when you realize that half of those kids are like 16, 17 years old in real life too.
It is. It's weird and creepy, that scene is. But yeah, no, it's a pretty solid movie. I watched it for the first time a while ago, and I really loved it. And because so many people said this is a Friday the 13th movie that is really, really good. It's not Friday the 13th. And I'm like, okay, we'll see about that. And when I watched it, I was like, I had the same reaction as you. It's really
one that
well done.
never, for some reason, my buddy and I never managed to see, because I asked my buddy whose favorite films are like the Friday the 13th ones if he'd even seen it. And he hadn't either. I'm like, I don't know how it got away from us when we were younger. I mean, we always knew about it.
Right. Same.
But I just never found it on video. I never stumbled upon it on cable. And it just so happened I do have the older Blu-ray. I just haven't opened it actually.
That's
Same
what
you probably have the Shout Factory one.
Shout Factory Blu-ray. But I was going to get the 4K because I was wanting to upgrade it to that because it was just curious about it. But yeah, I love the movie. It is. That's why it's like most time I don't care to say something needs a sequel, but that movie needed a sequel.
That movie never got one, surprisingly.
I know, and it never got one because I would love to have seen.
I can't believe that the Weinsteins did. I mean, they were always sequelizing everything.
Oh man, it would have been interesting to see how it played up against the Friday the 13th movies, as if it would have went along, because like you said, Tom Savini skipped out on part 2 for this movie. So, and you can tell because he does great work in this movie. I mean, Cropsy's design, like you said, it's like the whole burn effect looks great. And I know, Rook, you were quiet up there, so I guarantee you've never seen it because you've never seen any of the Friday the 13th movies.
Correct.
But yeah, the Burning is a really good movie. It's one of those often overlooked 80s horror flicks that, for whatever reason, didn't seem to get a lot of love, but a lot of people love it, if you know what I mean.
I was surprised how much I ended up liking it. I didn't think I was gonna that much, but I was surprised.
Yeah. I knew you would.
Well, what's funny is I ordered this back in July.
Yeah, because it came out around that time.
And Best Buy, these are two of the ones that they got lost on me. So yeah.
Well, now we know Best Buy just doesn't care anymore. So,
well, they showed up finally. They were still postmarked July.
All right, you guys got anything final words? I guess you want to say before we close down.
I'm surprised we managed to do that all in 3 hours. I had more movies tonight than I've ever had in an entire, and I could have even brought on those Friday the 13th ones, but I knew I had a gut feeling, even though we didn't get a chance to talk before the show, that you would have brought them on. So
I feel like it's the first time in a few weeks that we had no super side tangents. So
Yeah.
We're able to just talk.
Well, and I
about
was
it
trying to keep it pretty
just as
tight.
it was.
And we've talked
Yeah.
about Evil Dead 1, 2, and 3. I don't know how many fucking times
lot.
in Runner already. So
Runner, he's brought him on. Yeah. But yeah, watch next week, which will be the Halloween show next week. We will have like slim to none movies to talk about.
I tried to save some of my best ones for last, as far as the
Yeah.
horror recommendations. And
well, that'll probably be
they're,
next.
They're the last dip I have.
So that'll probably be me next week, is I'll only have like 2 movies.
Yeah.
watched.
Yeah.
No,
And that'll
I'll
be
try
the-
to watch a few others, but
That's what I said, and that'll be the Halloween episode because
Yeah.
we won't be live on Halloween. We'll be live the day after Halloween. I
Right.
think.
Post Halloween when it's completely over.
well, yeah, and that's the thing, is usually on Halloween I end up watching Halloween movies anyway, which we talked about when they came out. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, maybe actually it won't be this next week, but the week after it'll probably be the one where I don't have anything.
But
We'll see.
yeah. Thank you. So well, you know what? Speaking of which, because I should have played this earlier as well, which it goes well. But anyways.
Dick.
That's Jason Takes Manhattan right there. I think that scene was shot. That could have been shot in Toronto though, because the background didn't quite look like New York. After now that I think
The
about
Coke
it.
signs there, but I can't tell if it's the
He's
right
now
one.
Yeah,
crossed,
good,
he's
yeah.
crossed the line now, kicking that boombox over. Now he's gone too far.
Oh, what's up, Random Brad? Late as always. No, you're just kidding, man. But thank you, Rook. Thank you, Tom, for hanging with us. Thank you to everybody in the chat. To everybody that's going to replay. I hope you guys enjoy the replay. Random Brad, I hope you enjoy the replay. Glad to have you there. But thank you all seriously for hanging with us. I think this is the first show we've done since Rookie started that didn't go 3 hours. So
That's true. We got a record now, an under 3 hour one.
an under 3 hour one. But
Well, I was trying to keep it succinct, yeah.
yeah, but you had some really good picks tonight, though.
I had a
also,
lot.
so-
That's why I was like trying to rush through a lot of them. I'm like, I don't want to spend too long talking about each one of these.
Yeah, you had good
I'll be
ones,
here all night. I mean, if anybody has any questions about anything, I can answer them. But like, yeah, like
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I covered everything pretty well.
I think you did. You do pretty good. But thank you guys seriously for sticking with us this long. Everybody out there watching, everybody in the chat, Tom, Rook, appreciate you guys. As always, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.
Just leave.